Ain't nothing new, it's just life now. Ain't going back what I used to do, just right now. Anytime I put the smoke up, they pipe down. All I ever got was no love, but they like me now. Ain't nothing new, it's just life now. Ain't going back what I used to do, just right now. Anytime I put the smoke up, they pipe down. All my people keep their ears up and the toes. Who gon' do what I do for you? Who gon' step when it's time to shoot? Who won't stop when the mirror turn blue? Who lift the ceiling when I step in the room? Who can count to 10 before I come through? Who the fuck else got something to prove? Bible under belt, next to Mac 11. When they find your body, they all gonna say who? I ain't have a choice, so my feelings fall through. Page 11, have face in the news, singing to Miss American now breakdown rules of the streets in America, then I don't know fool. If you ain't got stripes, then you ain't shit. On other venue, ask when I walk in. If I want a cold brew or a nice cold gin, only on alcohol, I wanna flex big. Who you know that make these sounds sound better? Who you know make heads turn like Mayweather? Who you know keep an AK and an umbrella? When you make it rain, they gon' wanna make it rain at you. Stay active, X rounds in my package. I get that shit from Africa. If you get lit up, then they can't tag me, bitch. I'm already in Canada, sending any questions straight to my manager. I don't have time for a FaceTime appearances. Bitches, you put all your cameras up. I know you won't dig for the status, huh? Let's make it a flick, I ain't average. I might do anything for some cabbage. My bitch will come through for the stasis. Then I'll show up and rob you, no catfish. Ain't nothing new, it's just life now. Ain't going back what I used to do, just right now. Anytime I put the smoke up, they pipe down. All I ever got was no love, but they like me now. Ain't nothing new, it's just life now. Ain't going back what I used to do, just right now. Anytime I put the smoke up, they pipe down. All my people keep their ears up and they toss down.
What up, what up? How's everybody's night doing? Hope we're all doing great.
I figure I know what's going on. This might be it. You gon' find me in the Commodore, or you gon' find me in the ditch. Yeah, I needed a moment, had lost my own. Now I'm on my shit. Don't tell me to leave, my vice is home. Didn't know I'd stay with a grip. No toe tag, which I admit. Came off the boat to a penthouse, and I swear my life is the rent. Fuck, I look like selling out for a few thousand. A particular view, and then a bitch in the zoom. And I can snap when I move, and people give me some room. I got the pack and improve, I can impact and improve. I got my back to the moon, or I compare when I fuse. A fish sack when I boom, they try to take what I grew. 7'6'2", try to fuck with my pimpin', those are 5'6". Homie, I'll put you down 59 inches. You ain't in the meetings, that's good business. Fuck it, we eat no roast, street grillin'. Want a piece of the pasta, the most I'm living. Can't take these stripes, you go down for my children. I stay posted and they looking up at me, guess I'm going red hiding. I don't give a fuck what they say, yeah, bitch, I did it, you ain't gonna have to find them. We stay outside, that's the word of my daddy. We add up one finger to the sky, man. Happy and they throw my name, yeah, they say it the most. Steady with time and they need the Heimlich. Ain't nothing new, it's just life now. Ain't going back what I used to do, just right now. No love, but they like me now.
Once again, I hope everyone's having a good night. Tonight we're hosting an open panel. There's a link in the description. And come join the open panel. All you need is a device with a microphone and internet. Debate me on anything. I don't really even give a shit today. Bring it! What you got? Bring it! Back to the beats! We're also gonna do some more debate prep. We did that on the last stream, but I really need to start scheduling some debates that I have put offers out for. So we're really actually gonna go into depth on my notes. Break down a couple arguments for you guys. I did a little poll earlier, which we got no love on. If y'all are subscribed to this channel and y'all just bypass a poll, we got almost 40,000 subscribers. I know you see the bar at the bottom of the screen. 40,000 subscribers and couldn't get more than one person to answer a freaking poll. This is the road to 40K. So I can't do a 24-hour stream, but we're going to go as many times over the next couple weeks as we can. So if you got anything you want to talk about, bring it to the open panel. Click the link in the description. Join the open panel. Bring your own topic. Bring your own prompt. I don't care what it is. If I disagree with it, I'll debate you on it. Or we can just talk about it. We don't even have to debate. We can just talk about it. Come up and tell your story. Talk some shit. Tell me that you like my music or that it sucks. Everything you're hearing is made by me. So criticisms are welcome.
My status, you can hold on my dick, you haters. Lately I've been going hiatus. Dope snarl, this dope shit I created. Tell my grandma, uncle, we made it. They gave my word, no, I won't break it. They told me no, so bitch, I'll take it. Put me in the trenches because I won't break it. Then I pull the pin and embrace it. I'm gonna die here whether I lose or win. My rose a gun, all you need is patience. I'm just trying to be real and ain't no way that you can fake it. Just tell me where to begin. My sight getting blurry, I'm changing my lens. I break a new era, I did it again. I practice my praises and sit with my sins. I tell my mama never go back, I swear. Tell her little bitches, I'm here. Foot in the door, I ain't going nowhere. Ooh, yeah, you bitches stuck. You scratching at the sides, fool. Like some dog food. Yuck, fool. Got you looking in the mirror like who did it? Should've never tried to eat off my plate. Oh no, I be sticking it to you bitches like kung fu. I'm trying to tell you.
Go ahead and show anybody interested what's involved. So as you can see, oh, yep. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. As you can see that bell icon in the top, that's new. Hold on. Hold on. Go ahead and, you see that? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification on the home screen of our channel if you have not already. That'll get you notified whenever we have a live or a video that's coming out. You guys can get ahead of the game. You guys can know before anybody else when we're going to be releasing some content to you guys. Like I said earlier, as you can see right there, link in the description. Click that link in the description. Bring a prompt, bring a topic. See right here, I'll bring you up. Just like this. Bam! I'll just bring you up like that. Talk about it. Or we can fight about it. Don't matter. It's the road to 40K. This is what we're doing.
Trying to tell you bitches I'm the truth. Sit and spin backwards till you
we'll go ahead and somewhat show what we have planned. So, popular topic of discussion nowadays is well, honestly, one of the most polarizing topics that there is. No, I don't want to show that every time I switch. Okay, restart play. Okay, I see. Anyway. One of the more popular topics that's been happening lately is about, of course, Donald Trump. And even though I don't want this to be a show about politics, it's just all anybody's talking about lately. I guess I can get rid of my mic visualizer. I'll pause this. Everybody says Trump is a fascist. I'm so sick of hearing it. And to be honest, I didn't even vote for this guy. But to help me explain, we have our friend Steven Crowder right here. You can see, hey, Steven Crowder. All right, we're going to do some transformative content with our friend who knows us very well, obviously. We have him live in the studio. Not on anyway, in studio. Over 7 years ago, he was really into something called Change My Mind. You guys might be aware of it, what it is. He went to these public places and turned them into arenas of discourse and debate and disagreement. And this is one of my favorite ones. So I figured we'd just watch bits and pieces of this and then go over it together. Where, as you can see, the topic of it is, well, you might not can see it because of my overlay. I'll remove that long enough so you can see it up at the top left. Trump is not a fascist. Change my mind, louder with Crowder. And we're going to go ahead and get this out of the way so we can hopefully be ready for for people who are going to come actually talk about this or other things. Got plenty of things that we can talk about. Throughout the video, I guess I'll go over, or throughout this live, I guess I'll go over a couple things, a couple other things that we could talk about, debate, discuss, agree on, disagree on, whatever. Anyway, we're gonna start off by watching this lady talk about Trump being a fascist.
Proof that he's a fascist. What's the definition of a fascist?
I'm glad you've asked. Let's agree to start with a definite. You want to read that for me? That's from Merriam-Webster.
Political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts nation, and often raised above the individual and stands for the centralized. Reading that, I would say no, because I don't think he exalts the nation at all.
Okay. Well, hold on, continue. It's centralized?
Okay. Centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader. Well, I do think he's dictatorial.
Okay.
Severe economic and social regimentation. No. Forcible suppression of opposition, yes.
Okay. So there you go. You just made a few assertions there based on the definition.
All right. What do we have so far? We have what this lady just read that Steven, I'm guessing...
Forcible suppression of opposition, yeah.
I'm guessing that he provided it. But for the most part, I'd agree. This, for the record, Merriam-Webster defines a fascist as a populist political philosophy, movement, or regime, such as that of the fascisti, that exalts nations and often races above the individual, that is associated with a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, and that is characterized by severe economic and social regimentation and by forcible suppression of opposition. That's just a fancy way to say what I'd personally call fascism, which would just be a characterization of a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interests for the perceived interest of the nation or race, and strong regimentation of society and the economy. Couple of those things you might be saying, well, you can apply that to every political party, more specifically the subordination of individual interests for the perceived interest of the nation or race. and the trait of having, or rather wanting strong regimentation of society and the economy. These two sound like things that every party needs and does. You want to put down the need of the individual for the interest of a larger group like a nation or a race. That sounds like just earning an electoral demographic that's large enough to actually get you into the race. And a strong regimentation of society and the economy. Well, if you don't want that, then you're kind of just a destructionalist. So it's funny that that's actually kind of somewhat in both ways. Let's see. Movement or regime. Such as the fascisti. Okay, and they actually covered that in this video too. Severe economic and social regimentation. And I defined it as a strong regimentation of society and the economy. I mean, that would just be, applying your vision to who you're elected over. And if you do it well, then I guess it would be a strong or a severe regimentation of society and economy. And everybody's always talking about wanting the economy to be better, so wouldn't you want to, regardless of what side you're on, wouldn't you want to strongly bolster it, reinforce it? Anyway, that's just a comparison of consistency in terms.
Okay. So there you go. You just made a few assertions there based on the definition of fascism, but we agree on the definition of fascism. I'm defining it as per the dictionary.
Where did that come from anyway?
Merriam-Webster.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can here. So where would you say he's a fascist, Donald Trump?
I would say that opposition, that...
the suppression of opposition?
Right, the suppression of opposition.
Okay, how so?
Well, let's see, we just had the man's security clearance removed simply because he has vocally disagreed with President Trump.
Which man are we talking about?
The ex-general, or he was a military man.
Okay.
Or no, actually, I think he'd been the CIA director under Obama.
Okay.
And he's threatening to remove other people's security clearances as well.
Okay.
He also says
Do these people ever, these people who have the loudest criticisms, did they ever say anything other than just what they think is bad? Does anybody with a loud criticism ever just come out with why they think something, rather than saying, this is it, here's the answer? I'm dropping shit. I'm so upset. I'm just throwing stuff around everywhere. What did, wasn't Trump not too long ago? I know we covered it on this show. And Stephen did this over 7 years ago. Hasn't ever since the Obama administration, when Trump was starting to run against Hillary, wasn't there this controversy about FBI, CIA, one of these three-letter agencies investigating Trump for, election interference? 7 years ago. So that would have been 2014, 2015. 7 years ago. Stephen did this. 2017 at the earliest. That means for a couple years, by the time Steven Crowder had actually done this episode, Trump had already been experiencing some foul play from these three-letter agencies who were, holding completely inconsistent standards of who they investigate and who they don't investigate when it comes to particular election interferences. But, if Trump actually stands up for himself, it's bad. But, I mean, you have three-letter agencies going against the general public in specific places, more central and western in the country, places like Portland, Oregon, Los Angeles, California. Three-letter agencies seem to have problems with people down there, but when those three-letter agencies push against people, screw these agencies. However, when it's the president of the United States, or more specifically Donald Trump, then he should adhere to everything that these three-letter agencies say. He shouldn't push back at all, even though they were obviously trying to catch him in some shit that he wasn't doing when it came to the election.
press is the enemy of
This was a couple elections ago, so once again, just keep in mind, this video is over 7 years old with Stephen.
the people.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, okay, so can we take a couple of those now? Because you just
Sure.
issued 2.
Okay.
So a couple of things. For example, probably the most severe example is he fired Comey, right? That was a big one.
Okay.
Fired James Comey. So we're talking about the investigation. I know we often go to the Russia probe or who he's granted security clearances to or removed. Let me ask you this. Is it within his constitutional authority to do that?
Yes.
Okay. So that wouldn't be an example of fascism.
No.
Your problem isn't with
Look, and it's not like that lady brought up that example. Oh, really? That should probably he got rid of a general. Oh, okay. So isn't it within his authority to do so? Is it actually a centralization of power for him to do what is necessarily within the bounds of the president? No, that's not fascist. So why'd you bring it up as your first fucking argument, lady? See, this is why telling the why is so important whenever you're giving an argument for anything, especially political. Don't just make assertions. Tell us the why, because then we can skip, what is it? The first doggone over a minute and a half of just rhetoric to get down to, okay, so you don't even agree with what you're saying. Took us a minute and a half to get here.
Donald Trump, your problem was with United States law. Then you talk about, he said, I want to make sure I have your quote correct, that the press is the enemy of the people. Is that what you said?
I think it said oppresses in that definition.
Yes, but that was a quote that you used, right? That Donald Trump has said the press is the enemy of...
Well, yes, he says the press is the enemy of the people.
Okay. Do you know where that quote actually comes from?
No, I don't.
Stalin. Yeah, Donald Trump didn't say that. He
Right.
talked about fake news
But
being the enemy of the
is he not saying
public.
that right now himself?
No, he's talking about fake news is a quote that he's used, which was a leftist term. I'm sure you know. It was invented by liberals.
Yeah, it's almost like the press is the people. And if you don't have the press, all you have are these large news organizations who filter all of the fucking information that goes to the general public, unless you allow the general public to do the reporting and investigating and journalism, which is the press. Now, of course, these large news organizations have press members and they have journalists and all that. But not everyone can own a huge news organization, but anyone can work in the press. Anyone can be a journalist. All you have to do is document, archive, and report events. Anyone can do that, but we can't all afford a network on cable television. So once again, I mean, she's quoting fascism in order to fight fascism, because Trump is a fascist.
She then co-opted being an enemy of people.
Is he not saying himself
Yeah.
that right now,
I'm so sick of this.
whoever said it first,
Yeah.
is he not currently saying that the press is the enemy of the people?
That exact quote is a quote attributed to Stalin.
Has he
So I'm
said
talking
it
about
himself?
Donald
Am
Trump.
I misinformed? Has he
Yes.
not said it
Yes,
himself?
you are. But
He
then
has.
let's move on to...
I'm misinformed?
Yes.
I've
yes.
not seen his tweets that say the press is the enemy of the people.
What? You're telling me I've been making shit up this whole time, misinformed, yet you're misinformed by yourself. Because all it takes, I mean, I'm so sick of this. These conversations never last long. Because all we have to do is break down, you think this. Okay, let's define this. We agree on this definition. Now let's apply it to all of your criticisms. How come this shit don't line up? And see, it started at like 120. Or no, 220. Like around, about 210, 215. 2 minutes and 45 seconds. That's how long it's taken Steven Crowder to get to the bottom of this woman's belief, which is, oh, it just sounds good because I don't like the guy, and it's something that it's captivating. It's a rambunctious language. He's a fascist. Who? And let's just say, oh, Lord forbid. Let's just say Nazis are running rampant. Schnatzisch. I guess I don't know. I don't know YouTube, just do what you do. I'm so tired of this conversation. This is going to be the last time I have it before my debate. Or my next debate on this. But oh goodness, it's so tired. I'm not even gonna find me something else to talk about.
No,
or his television
he's talking about
programs,
fake news, yeah. But
Let's just say that Schnatchies are running rampant. And they are like the ones that we learned about in history that did atrocious things to particular groups of people. Admittedly, mainly one, but to multiple groups in whole. Let's just say that these types of people are running rampant in this country. Who wouldn't want to get rid of the Schnatchies? Who would not want to get rid of that problem? So when you use this captivating language like we're fighting fascism from Donald Trump in this country, what you're doing is you're pulling on emotional heartstrings in order to draw the memories that people have of learning what these things are in the history books. And you're trying to get these people to emotionally tie Trump and the people who want him in there and want him doing what he's doing. You're trying to tie these people to a group of just atrocious people in history. And you're doing it by pulling on emotional heartstrings. Because when we actually look at what these words are, like fascist, a dictatorial leader, Trump was elected. Scratch that one off the list. Centralized autocracy. He is trying to give the federal government less power, and he is doing everything he can to give the people more power. The last time I checked, we haven't lost rights under Trump. We haven't lost any rights. You can still do everything that you could a few years ago, only this time now you got a reason to bitch about it. Militarism. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. I do not like what is happening in the Middle East. Why we are attempting to draw out of most other places, but not the places that actually affect our domestic policy through our foreign policy the most, I'm not sure. But I know that this thing in Gaza, I just think it deserves a little bit of reevaluation. Do I think that we should completely withdraw our troops from people that need us, like women and children, civilians, elderly people, regardless of who they are, whether they're Israeli or Palestinian? Yeah, I think our people need to be there to help. But I don't think that we're going to help by dropping fireworks on hospitals and schools and attacking music festivals or subverting a nation which you want favor from by implementing these terrorist attacks amongst their population for decades. Palestinian and Palestine, they haven't done that to us. So we need to be wary of everyone. Do we need a complete withdrawal? No. We just need to reevaluate what are all the resources. Let's track where all this taxpayer money is going. Let's make sure that these resources are actually being, for whether we continue to spend money on these resources or not, let's make sure that the money's actually going there, and then let's reevaluate, well, what are we really here for? What do these people really need from us? Forcible suppression of opposition. Last time I checked, Republicans and the rest of the right haven't really been censoring people. Now, I know that there are some fringe cases of like pathetic payback that have happened amongst wig heads. But you only see, it's an objective truth. There's undeniable that we en masse see one political group calling for the silencing, devoicing, debanking, and depersoning of the other side. There's only one group that does that. One more worth going over. Belief in a natural social hierarchy. Natural so you mean like social normatives? In a way, like how we should act with society? Or how things are in a natural world outside of one's wants? Because I know, for one, the right, we kind of want what we've got right now. If you can do it, then you are more than welcome to. Whether it's start a business, go to school, be good for nothing. Hell, we just about advise people to be good for nothing and just live off the streets with homeless incentives. There are incentives to be homeless now, depending on where you're at. Incentives to be a female and start a family in this country, and then leave the father because he didn't buy you a purse that you wanted, and then take half of everything that he has for the next 18 fucking years, while he also still has to take care of your lifestyle, take care of the child, all that. There's a lot of opportunity to do some really great shit and some really egregious shit. It's America, baby. You can do what you want. So free. We are so free that you are welcome to ruin your life and the lives of those around you. Believe it or not, as soon as you take that freedom away, you actually implement a social hierarchy. As soon as you say, no, you cannot do this, that may or may not affect these people in this way, for this reason. If that can apply to anything that you do, if the options that you have in life are so selected and predestined for you, that you only have a fine selection out of fear that how society might react, that's a social hierarchy. That's adhering one life to the other. Whereas what we have now is, if you can do it, do it. If you can start a business, do it. If you can go to school, do it. If you can start a protest that turns into a riot and burns shit down, whether you agree with it or not, you are welcome to do that. Now, do I agree with everything that might apply to? Of course not. I don't agree with everything of anything except for a few things, like just a couple select things, like Christianity, or other things that might only be measured by an objective metric. Those things I completely adhere to, like truth. I completely adhere to truth because it's objective. It's non-circular. And what we found is that this lady, as a fine example, has just shown how circular the thinking of the left is. It's a fine representation. If you've heard this lady talk, you've heard them all. Well, Trump's a fascist. What's a fascist? This, and this, and this. Well, is Trump doing this, and this? No. Well, then how the fuck is he a fascist? Just went through multiple definitions. The one that Steven Crowder laid out, I read out Merriam-Webster, which is one of the most renowned. I mean, some would even argue that it's leftist controlled. And then some other people would argue that you can't use a leftist source because it's leftist. But I say that if two conflicting groups agree on one topic, it solidifies the argumentation on the topic. If two people who can't stop fighting with one another agree on a definition, that means that definition's probably correct. Because two people who think completely opposite of one another say it's the same fucking thing. So that actually bolsters what it is. And what this is the definition of fascism. We went over it multiple times now. I encourage someone to put in the comments how this applies to Trump. Once again, I didn't even vote for the dude. I'm just confused at the argument. Because most of what I hear towards the left, is about policy. But all the shit that I hear about Donald Trump, and I'm not even a huge fan, but it's like, what is he actually doing that y'all don't like? Is it anything outside of a title, outside of a name? Fascist. It's just a name. Tell me what he's doing. You never hear it.
Let's move on again to, there's rhetoric, I think is important, and there's...
Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't know why. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but this video's popping. There's got some like light popping. Every time I play it, it starts. Hopefully y'all can't hear it. I apologize. It was doing it before I started the stream. I don't know.
Policy. So you
tweets that say the press is the enemy of the people.
No,
or his television
he's talking about fake news, yeah. But let's move on again to, there's rhetoric, I think is important, and there's policy. So you've talked about the press, for example, and I think that's important. I think freedom of the press is very important. For example, we both agree if someone sought to nationalize the press, that would be a problem. That'd be a step toward fascism, right? Would we both agree on that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we have some common ground there. What has Donald Trump done as far as actionable steps taken towards suppression?
Also, whoever unsubscribed, go screw. I am not updating the bar for an unsubscribe. Someone's fucking with me. I'm guessing y'all wanted to see if the bar would update. It will. But I'm not going to update it for -1. Only +1s. Bitch.
Of the free press.
Well, hasn't he tried to not allow people into the White House, into the press room? He's trying to dictate who's allowed to come in and not come in. That's a small amount of suppression. It's not a legal, huge...
Sure. Oh, sorry.
You know,
yeah.
He hasn't passed a law. He hasn't pulled out the police.
Sure.
But just in saying that and
Yes. They do have to use the word fascist because the word racist has lost its touch because it's completely, all right, I got to bring myself back with this. It's completely undeniable that everyone, to an extent, it got a little touch of the racism. I mean, let's just speak, while we're talking about breaking down words, let's just break down racism in a logical, empirical sense, as it's written down, literally. Race. We all know what race is. So depending on your race, what do you do with the race? Ism. So action. So race, action. Race, ism. Race, action. So action can maybe be like translated to act or to act upon. So racism, in layman's terms, means to act upon one's race. Tell me that ain't going on. Tell me nobody on either side. yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's just a new word. But tell me that on any side, no side acts. But tell me any one group of people just completely not racist. Like there's just this infallible group of people, just you can't prove it wrong because they've never acted upon one's race before. I know when look. When I'm in my neighborhood, I look out. Just like when I'm in a trailer park, I look out for very specific, I know who's supposed to be here. I'm out in the middle of the sticks. I know what people around here look like. If you don't look like people that are from around where I'm around, I'm going to be like, oh, what's that dude doing here? Especially if you're talking some kind of, let's just say you're talking a language, you're talking anything other than English. Basically, I'm not on a border state. So if I see you around my neighborhood, yeah, I'm gonna act upon your race and your dialect. Who are you? Find me just any group of people that doesn't do that. Yeah, and it's all about words that sound bad. Once again, it's just emotional heart. It's just emotional strings that these people push. It's not about what the actual word means. It's what's a trigger word that everyone is aware of. What's something that we can tie to just a universal thought in history. When you say this one thing, it makes everyone think a specific thing, like calling people schnazzies. Everyone thinks of the same thing. There's no two different ideas of who those people were, or at least what they did, the atrocities they did. Everyone knows what it means. So when you start calling a group of people like the right schnazzies, everyone knows what you're trying to say about them. Is the right doing that type of shit? No. But they say that, they use that type of language just to catch, you know, it's provocative. That's all they want. They just want to, they're provocateurs to get other people riled up on their side because they have no arguments for what these words mean, the nature of these words. All they have is emotional lingo. And like I've got a passion for like apology for this type of stuff, like wanting to go against these arguments and debate them, but I'm getting like there's no way people are this stupid. But once again, this lady is a fine example.
So back to the rhetoric.
Right, the rhetoric.
So not so much policy, it sounds to me, you have a problem with the rhetoric.
That's correct.
Because his policies would actually fly in the face of that. Because you were the one who sat down, you believe he's a fascist. So if we talk about policy, I mean, President Obama actually withheld more information, spent 36 odd something $million under the Freedom of Information Act to withhold information from journalists.
How did we get to Obama?
Well, hold on, this is why it matters. Because Donald Trump has not done that. Donald Trump has not done that.
It does not matter. We are not going to.
It don't matter if they did the same thing. Obama not Orange Man. We mad at Orange Man because Orange Man.
Obama to compare Obama.
Is Obama a fascist?
I don't know.
Okay, but you said with such authority that Donald Trump is a fascist. If I may just continue along with my point here. Barack Obama used the Espionage Act not only to spy on, but prosecute more leakers, whistleblowers, and journalists than any president in history. The reason I bring this up is because Donald Trump hasn't done that. As a matter of fact, he's been more transparent. He's been more open to the press than the previous president.
And let's not forget to mention, which president had the most Predator drone strikes of any in history ever since Predator drones were a thing? Orange Man. Yeah, it's Orange Man bad. We talk about Orange Man. So what if two people do same thing? No. Orange Man. He's the problem. But yeah, listen. Militarization. Who saw the most shit blow up using damn airplanes that don't even need a pilot? Talking about not even honorable militarization. But they don't want to talk about that. I'm against all kinds of senseless strikes and wars. But let's just be consistent with our standards, man. Can we not just apply this at like I'm all about double standards now. I believe that there's a there's a broad distinction between things like up and down, left and right, black and white, not as skin tones, but as like a contrast. Like you have right and wrong. You have Christianity, secularism, or people that just don't hold a religion. More specific, like a greater example is man and woman. There are differences. There's a dynamic. I'm getting sick of the. I'm getting sick of the rhetoric. To be honest, I don't even know where I was going with that.
Obama was a fascist, and I don't think Donald Trump is a fascist. You are saying definitively that Donald Trump is a fascist based on rhetoric. I'm showcasing you his policy.
Why would he say this then if he's so transparent and so open and so actually wanting the press in? Why would he say?
I know why I brought up sexual dynamics, because who's letting this woman talk about politics right now? Seriously. Just to let y'all know, this chick right here, she can cancel your vote. She can cancel your vote. Whoever you're voting for, all she has to do is vote for the other guy, and your vote don't mean shit.
Why does he say that? Why does he say that?
Because the press has an inherent liberal media bias and it's dishonest.
Oh, excuse me? Why? How do you prove that? What are the numbers? Where are the studies that this mainstream media is so liberal and progressive and communist and whatever you want to say?
I didn't say
towards
that.
the left, that they
that.
have this bias.
One thing, if you could do me a favor, I didn't put any words in your mouth. Don't put words in my mouth.
But you changed the argument, which I thought were talking about Donald Trump, and you switched it over to Obama.
Popular, low-tier tactic. Why are we moving the goalposts? We were talking about Trump. Why bring up Obama? Because, lady, we have to get down to the bottom of what informs your belief system. And anybody who agrees with this woman. Can we just discuss why you think the way that you think? And this isn't to have an inconsistent standard, speaking of them. With Steven Crowder, I'm pretty sure that it's easy to find out his standards. It's a well-known guy. We're trying to get down to this lady's belief system because she made the mistake of sitting in the chair. To have this conversation with Steven Crowder. Why are you changing the subject? We were talking about Donald Trump. Well, we have to make sure you actually believe what you say you believe. You have these criticisms. There are these important things whenever you're having like an argument or a debate or just two conflicting stances or worldviews. Whenever they collide, you want something like consistency in terms, which is a detail or a semantic of conversation. You want to make sure that you have like consistent definitions for words. Like, that's why Steven Crowder, at the beginning of this video, asked this woman, do you agree with this definition? And he brought up a definition and she said that she agreed with it. That was like trap card number 1. And she activated it immediately. All right, so now we know that this is what you think about fascism. This is what you think it is. Now let's just apply it to the rest of your worldviews. Do you really think what you say you think? And once we find out that you hold an inconsistent standard between definitions and how we can apply these definitions to, let's say, other examples like Barack Obama rather than Donald Trump, but in the same manner that you do Donald Trump, you see, this is inconsistent. So now the argument goes from Trump is a fascist to now you got to prove to me that you're not just lying from your fucking ass and speaking bullshit, emotional bullshit, just to try to win people over to your side. But this is the social warrior.
Understand the purpose for that, though? Do you understand the purpose?
No.
Okay, so you said Donald Trump is a fascist.
No, but why are we talking Obama?
Because Obama actively sought to suppress the press, and Donald Trump doesn't. That's relevant.
And how do I know he hasn't? How do I know he hasn't?
Policy-wise,
when I hear from his mouth that he does not like the press, and that they're lying, and that everything that they say is fake.
Whoever unsubscribed to fuck with me, thank you for subscribing back. Now, the goal is where it should be. I'm sorry for yelling at you, you asshole.
With the exception of one news program.
Yeah. A lot of what they say, is fake. It's unsubstantiated.
And why does he also then retweet unsubstantiated claims from people?
See, again, we're getting back into rhetoric. Could you point me to any
I have no other
substantive policies?
The only information I have is what I can read and what I can see on television.
Okay.
And so whatever Donald Trump puts out as a tweet, that
Oh no. What did she? No, she didn't just say what I think she said.
is what I
Did she? All I had. What? Let's just. One more time, AJ. Again, your ignorance versus intelligence. You have never lied in this chat. I see you come around often. You don't say too many silly things, do you?
Substantive policies.
The only information I have is what I can read and what I can see on television.
The only information I have. Okay. So one of those things that she said, I can agree with. I also like to read information. But what she watches on television, let's see, even 7 years ago, this was a maximum of 2017. Getting your information from television. Don't these people hate like centralized groups and organizations like mainstream media? But she's getting her information from television, believe that. But no, she reads some too. She totally reads. You know, she only brought up television because it's an honorable mention. Once again, this is just some of that group thing. Yeah. This group, yeah. And these people, these are the, you know, the right or science deniers people. You guys are science deniers, but, you know, I'm just going to regurgitate what I heard on CSNBC, because that's where I get my information, because I'm a learned individual.
Okay.
And so whatever Donald Trump puts out as a tweet, that is what I know.
Okay. What do you read and what do you?
What she knows is what Don. These are her criticisms. Stephen is not even filling this lady up with answers or things that she could possibly say. These are the warriors that are willing. They have a stake in the bullshit. They do have a stake in the bullshit, AJ, because they've dedicated. This is the way of the social warrior. They've dedicated their entire life to standing up for this cause that they can't even define. And honestly, it causes a bit of cognitive dissonance whenever you hear truth, whenever you're so dedicated to a lie and to something that you can't even define or explain. When you actually hear the truth after that point, it causes pain in your head, in your brain. That's called cognitive dissonance. That's why whenever like you try to talk some sense into a young kid and they get like physically aggravated, it's because you've caused cognitive dissonance by providing them the truth when they've been so dedicated to childish bullshit. It's natural for children to experience cognitive dissonance. But we're talking about I don't know, how old do y'all think this lady is? They're going down that hill, just can't be wrong. Well, once again, they're dedicated to something that they have to encapsulate their whole life. Look, me being the person I am, I can go to work all around my state. I meet 100 people a day, fix 10, however many things a day I need to. Come home, take care of my house, take care of my beautiful puppy, and then come and do this shit every once in a while in a studio room and just look up this crazy, outrageous nonsense and give my 2 cents on it. I can separate my belief system from all the things that I have to do throughout the day. But what people like this lady have done, and it goes to show, and also what Stephen Crowder's done this, maybe not this lady in particular, but Stephen and this lady in particular are willing to speak. Less people are willing to speak on their belief system nowadays than the latter, the not speaking. Very few people actually want to or are willing to die on the hill. So honestly, AJ, dying on the hill, not so bad. Depending on which side you're on. It also depends on your definition of dying on the hill. They never have a logical, rational answer, which is hilarious. Well, exactly. And that's what we've heard out of this lady so far. Is that, what is your answer to, is Trump a fascist? Yes. Okay, why? Because of this definition here. Does it apply to Trump? No. Let's see if it applies to other presidents like Obama. Wait, we're talking about Trump. Orange man. When you're wrong is crazy, the bandwagon is crazy. Yeah, but it's convincing. I'm in my late 20s. It wasn't too long ago when I was so willing to follow my school friends off of a cliff because I thought that it would aid my social standing. And we weren't doing anything like debating political beliefs. We were doing things like, oh, weed is good, bro. Make love, not war. So we were just willing to blindly walk off the cliff and die on the hill over bullshit. Imagine what these people do whenever the hill that they have to die on isn't pathetic high school sentiments, but it's, we need to stop the fascist schnatzis. Children are so willing to do outrageous stuff for such senseless reasons. These adults will go so much farther for ideally so much more. That's why what Steven Crowder is doing is outstanding, because he's putting this ideology on display for demonstration. He's saying, do you speak on behalf of people who think like you? Well, please represent your side. It's to the detriment of most of these people. Just to be right and being wrong, yeah. Can't stand alone, the fear is ridiculous. I don't want to stand alone either. I'm on the opposite side of this lady. I don't want to be alone. And I'm not alone in a lot of my beliefs. But, I don't know, you never really want to be the only person that thinks some way, do you? Because then you end up with this ultra individualized idea of society. Which may be antithetical to one of the core traits of fascism, when put that way at least. But what do you have when you have ultra individualized? What is it when everything is individualized? Well, naturally, the system would concede to the individual's idea that's in the highest percentage. What group of people believe what thing the most? And naturally, things would just concede to that idea. You will never be alone standing in truth. Yeah. It's past standing in it. It's like, Steven, we got to walk in it. I know from my particular belief system, it's founded in my religion, and I'm told to pick up the sword and the shield, and not literally, but metaphorically, as Steven does in this video. These completely ridiculous and irrational beliefs that are just destroying life as we know it. And not even for the sake of a better life. For ultra-individualization. For ultra-individualism, which will ultimately just concede to, once again, the greatest population demographic of similar ideology. There's still going to be a group of people who believe the same thing at the end of all that. And they're going to be the rulers. And with all this propaganda and stuff that they're pushing to the kids, who do you think that group of people is going to be at the end of the day? especially when they're going after the kids. That's what it is.
Watch as far as television news?
I watch Fox and I watch MSNBC.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you balance kind of two sides of the coin.
Yes, I do.
No, that's very respectable, and I actually appreciate that. I think it's more valuable than watching CNN that kind of plays down the middle when they obviously lean left. And what do you read?
Why do you know CNN obviously leans left?
Well, if you look, do you want to take Jake Tapper's example? Do you want to take a multitude of their reporters? Do you want to take a multitude of people who actually work at CNN who have direct ties to the Hillary Clinton campaign? But I don't want to get off on the beaten path here. I brought that up because you definitively said Donald Trump is a fascist, right? I'm not mistaken. That was your assertion.
Well, I said that looking at that definition, I think parts of it met Donald Trump, but
Okay.
not all of it.
Okay, so
He has not made laws, or he can't make laws, but he has not done things. He's not pulled up the army or
He could,
whatever
though.
forces he could.
He could make laws.
To suppress people or oppress people. He has not done that. He
Right.
has actually...
Oh, so he hasn't done one of the things that is the core, one of the core so you're telling me one of the few core criticisms that you hold against him, now you admit that he hasn't done? Please, dummy, say more.
Because we don't have these laws. We've been working, I think, under the assumption that some behaviors, they were customs, they were customary. This is the way people customarily did things. Customarily, presidential candidates showed us their tax returns. So no, Donald Trump hasn't broken any laws in not showing us his tax return. He simply has broken custom.
what does any of this have to do?
Stephen was about to say, what does anything of this have to do with whether he's oppressed opposition? Pretty sure that's what he's about to say. And this is going to be said against a woman who got upset that Stephen wasn't being consistent with who they were talking about, when once again all Stephen was trying to do was see if they had consistent standards between different control groups. It's for y'all people to yell, y'all science deniers, science deniers. Y'all really want to know the science? You want to know how a scientific experiment is a success? It's in the scientific process. It's the final step of the process. You repeat the experiment and get the same results over and over and over and over again. That's how you know your experiment was a success, because you can duplicate it at will.
With Donald Trump being a fascist?
Nothing.
Oh, being a fascist.
I think I was getting to a point of there are points in that where that with that definition that I think he pulls into fascism, but not all of it.
So you believe Donald Trump's tax returns, as it relates to him being a fascist, are more relevant than previous presidents and their suppression of the press?
No, I was using his tax returns as an example.
That's why I was using Barack Obama.
Yeah, see, that's exactly how he was using Barack Obama. It's just an example. She did what Steven Crowder did. She said, oh, okay, that is your standard on fascism? Well, do you hold the same standard concerning Trump's tax returns? At which Steven Crowder somewhat, I would take it, kind of just agreed to move the subject along and to recall the fact, yeah, well, you're just using the same methodology of consistency of standards that I was attempting to do when bringing up Obama. But once again, this woman appeals to, oh, you're moving the goalpost, you're moving the goalpost. Then under her own standard, not even 2 minutes later, moves the goalpost under her own standard. Because remember, she was the first one to call out, you're changing the subject. So she laid down the foundation of what changing the subject was. Now she is ultimately accountable for changing the subject under the standard that she applied to Stephen. And we see not even 2 minutes later, under her own standard of what changing the subject is, she changes the subject. And Stephen, being the kind saint that he is, says, well, that's just what I was doing with Obama. But she made such a ruckus, she raised her voice. This old... I'm supposed to say nice things, but it's so hard lately. She's supposed to be better than this. She's multiple times my age.
Obama and his treatment of the press. So I'm okay with using the tax returns. I disagree that would make him a fascist.
No, I didn't say that would make him a
No,
fascist.
I know, I understand. And I also didn't say that it would make Barack Obama a fascist. I was pointing out the act of suppression and prosecution of journalists, which was unprecedented under President Obama. Same thing we're talking about. You just mentioned that he can't make this into law. Well, unfortunately, because of executive orders now and precedent, there are a lot of executive orders that have made law.
Textbook narcissist behavior. It's well put. Want to know a funny thought that I had about narcissists one time? Raise your hand, or rather put up fingers for how many times you've heard a woman say that she dated a narcissist. I'm putting all of my fingers up multiple times. How many times have you heard a female say, "Oh, my ex-boyfriend, he was such a narcissist"? The fuck does that mean to you women that say that? Like, narcissists normally tie everything to themselves, turn every argument into a gaslight. Every conviction that you hold against them, they find a way to become the victim. That's my understanding of a narcissist. Just a professional victimizer. Gaslighting to the extreme, yeah. Just know you're not the one with the problem here. I have a problem with what's going on. These aren't your problems. These are my problems, and I'm having to deal with them. No accountability, yeah. The problems that are worth dealing with are never theirs, but the problems that require nothing but suffering and loathing, that's always the narcissist problems. How come a narcissist problems, on account of most women that I've heard that have dated dudes, how come most of those narcissists that they talk about, how come whenever I ask them, well, what made him a narcissist? Oh, he just wouldn't talk to me. And he wouldn't pay me attention. And he wouldn't he wouldn't listen to me. He wouldn't let me talk about my day and everything I went through. And it's like, well, ma'am, are you sure he was the narcissist? Are you sure that he wasn't affirming your narcissist fucking behavior because you want everything to be about you, bitch? And he got tired of that shit and probably told you one day what it was. Say, I don't want to talk about you every day. As a man, I got some shit to deal with. It's called life. I gotta not only take care of a house, I gotta take care of a family within that house. If I lose the house, I'm gonna lose the family. And not only that, in order to keep a woman attractive, I have to have a social status. I have to have a network, a notable network. And I have to have money, meaning that not only do I have to be somebody, but I have to make it look like other people know I'm somebody as well. Because women are attracted to dudes who are somebodies that other people treat like somebodies. Oh, also, he has to be rich. But every time they get what they want, in the end of the day, oh, he was a narcissist. Ain't that the type of dude you want? Let's say he was a narcissist. Let's just concede the argument. Let's say your boyfriend was a narcissist. Do you want to date someone who literally makes their world revolve around you? Do you want You're a grown-ass man. Even if he's an ape of a husband. Grimy as hell. Do you want him up your ass every day? What is so appealing about wanting to be a boss babe? Now, I hear a whole bunch of common arguments against things like the 19th Amendment, and I know this is going to piss some people off. If y'all don't know what the 19th Amendment is, it's the amendment that gave women the right to vote. Like I said earlier, women like this chick on the screen, you know what? I'm tired of seeing her. Tired of seeing that woman. This makes me sick. These women are canceling out well-informed votes. I'm not saying repeal the 19th. But I think we need to appeal all vote. Let's just take it. Let's just get to the source of the issue. Social conditioning? Yeah. Well, here's some social conditioning for your ass. Cognitive tests. In fact, I think you should take a cognitive test if you're going to accuse anybody of being a narcissist. If you're going to vote for the fucking president. If you're going to drive a car. Or if you're going to have kids. You know what? If you're going to have children, that's number 4 on the list. We got to make sure you're not a dumbass. I'm sorry. The fate of children is in your hands. We're giving you a math test. We're just going to make sure you're not... Is it a bad idea? Talk about some social conditioning. I saw that in the chat. I see hundreds. I see hundreds popping up in the chat. It looks like a good idea. I'm down with social conditioning. But Sawyer, if you condition a society, what you're doing is you are creating a natural hierarchy amongst that society. No, because this once again, we want the limit of the shit that is allowed to be limited. We don't want it compressed amongst groups. We want I know people who are like-minded to me. We know it's not going to be an even playing field. It's never going to be an even playing field. Welcome to Earth. And to hell with all the people talking about we got a social hierarchy now that validates the white man. Man, I'm white. My dad is black, and everyone that I look up to is darker than me and rich. A natural social hierarchy. Ain't none of that going on. Everyone I look up to is darker than me and rich. On top of that, I was adopted by a black dude. I'm paid by people who are darker than me. I didn't even vote for Trump. But because of what I say here, they'll tell you I'm a fascist too. Even though when you get down to my belief, am I mixed? No, I'm not. My dad is adopted black. Like, he adopted me nah. My actual biological parents, 93 born, my actual biological parents, both white. But, like, my bloodline goes back to, like, Norway. More specifically, like, 1300s to 1600s. And then from there, we went to, like, Ireland and Scotland. And then we went to Germany. And then, like, maybe around 200 years ago, maybe a little bit more, we came to America. I can count on, like, maybe around one hand how many generations of an American I am. But I'm fully white. I was just adopted by a black dude. And I just work for a black dude. and I'm just employed by black dudes. But there's a natural social hierarchy that we are all apparently subject to. And it's all being implemented by an orange man. Let's get back to this bullshit.
Most egregiously would be DACA or Title IX that we saw from the previous administration. Whereas
93, I see you. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's not an exciting story, but I guess it is kind of cool. It's not exciting, though.
executive actions are simply meant to actually guide current laws
I just sound this way, okay?
and how they are interpreted. So he could. So a good example of fascism would be someone who would sign an executive order that would actively suppress the press. He hasn't done that. An executive order, somehow using the Second Amendment or changing it thereof for a free citizenry to be an armed populace, or signing an executive order, for example, that might silence freedom of speech through roundabout ways. He hasn't done any of those things. He has actually rolled back regulations, rolled back taxes, rolled back red tape. He's been less invasive into your life. So I just don't see how
Less invasive into my life.
Yes.
And he can break laws and get away with it.
Damn it, I'm still muted. I thought this woman just got done having to concede about how Trump hasn't broken laws on particular things. If he has broken laws, how come you didn't bring them up as your examples, you stupid, goofy?
That's unfortunately been the case with look where you
has-
are. Everyone here is
I'm-
breaking laws. If you were to
How
pass out
are
tickets,
we all breaking laws here?
I'm talking about Washington D.C. There are no.
I don't live in D.C. I'm not from Washington
Okay.
D.C.
So he can. What laws would you say he's broken, gotten away with?
The immigration.
Okay.
The problem at the border.
Okay.
That when people cross the
He's broken the immigration law. You know, the law with the immigration law. He broke it. Never mind which immigration law.
border and try to apply for what are these the people
don't
who
get
are
it.
saying
I don't understand. That's right. CNN and CSNBC, I forgot. She watches television, y'all.
that they are being oppressed or have trouble in their home countries.
Yeah.
Or trying
Refugees?
to asylum, refugees.
Yeah.
Right. And so he says he is saying there are no refugees. These are simply all illegal immigrants.
Yes.
And as they step
Ain't gonna lie, I'm funny. I appreciate you, man. I'm glad I'm funny. Cause look at the shit that is going on around us. This woman can vote. It don't matter what you want to do. She can disagree with you and just take your thoughts about what we should do. Just throw it the fuck out of here. Because, wouldn't it make you funny too?
foot across the border, they are now criminals.
Yes.
So is he not breaking, is that a law or is that simply a custom United Nations somebody put out and said you have to take refugees in? Is he not breaking laws?
No, he's not. As a matter of fact, that is United States law. Your problem would be with existing United States law. If you cross the border and enter this country illegally.
Excuse me, I'm not down there saying you can't come across.
No, there
Fake
should
news,
be some. Yeah.
AJ.
No, I'm saying I'm personally not down there saying these people are
Right.
not allowed to come
You
across.
mispronounced
but somehow
CNN for the
President
last
Trump
time.
has his group of people down there saying they're not allowed to come across.
Right. Yeah, they're not allowed to cross. How is that fascism?
I'm saying, well, he's breaking laws.
No, he's not. He's enforcing the United States immigration law. You can't cross into this country
You're
illegally.
talking immigration law versus the problem of the refugees who are coming here and saying, I would like to apply for refugee status. I would like to prove that I've been.
Sure.
And they're not giving their data.
Well, lady, luckily today I have time. What is the I know how to spell the BGs, but I don't know how to spell the refugees. Refugee Policy USA. Hit dog. Oh, I don't know. Why did it? What country don't have immigration laws? France. AJ, have you seen France lately? London. Not London. I'm retarded. Paris. Paris looks like an Indian fish market. It's like a flea market under the Eiffel Tower. France has like almost no immigration law. Who's fighting to get in there? Fucking look it up. Once again, if you but you can't be racist. A whole bunch of Indians, Pakistanis, mainly Indians. And also, I mean, you kind of look at the glorification of France over the past, ever since World War II, it's been glorified as like this place that you want to be, and they always talk about how their economy is bolstered and they need people. Well, they got them. It would probably be very easy to look up the Indian flea market. The Indian flea market business that is booming in Paris right now. And it is all trash. But I mean, this is what we have in store. U.S. Oh, it's not the USA, it's just the U.S. Operates under the framework of the Refugee Act of 1980 and involves a multi-step process for admission and resettlement. Due process, you don't say. The number of refugees admitted each year is set by the President in consultation with Congress through the Presidential Determination on Refugee Admissions. He's broken the refugee law. You mean the laws about refugees that come directly from the president? It's like these same people have the argument about Donald Trump doing shit with the military that they don't agree with. Do you know that the commander-in-chief is a military rank? It's the only rank above 5-star general. Countries have multiple 5-star generals. Do you know how many countries have multiple commander-in-chiefs? None. Because that military rank means you're the president. So it sounds like the highest ranking military official is in charge of the military. Huh. Who knew? Just like this is saying, the Refugee Act of 1980 and involves a multi-step process for admission and resettlement. The number of refugees admitted each year is set by the President in consultation with Congress through the Presidential Determination on Refugee Admissions. What does that mean, Sawyer? I will tell you what that means. A presidential determination on refugee admission sets the annual refugee admission ceiling for the upcoming fiscal year and is required before any refugees can be admitted. So you know what that means? The amount of people that comes in here as immigrants, it's up to Donald Trump. You want to know why? Because that's the law, bitch. Trump broke a law. Trump made the law, bitch. But he broke it. The law revolves around the president, who is Donald Trump, the orange man. So what law did he break? I'm glad you're reminding us to get back to the video, Steven Crowder. Back to you in the field.
At court, they've had, I think there was something reported of a woman who was her day that she was supposed to actually be in court was on a plane being sent back to Venezuela.
By the way, I'm gonna let this play for a minute. I hear a puppy I need to check on, so I'm just gonna let this play for a minute. I'll be right back.
Or Guatemala, wherever, and the judge says, get her back here.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I want to make, because and I appreciate you taking the time, and I appreciate you being civil. I think we're maybe missing each other here. Can you explain to me, someone crosses the, let's say, Mexican-American border, right? Does so without any verification, just does so in the heat of the night. Illegal immigrant.
Right.
What is the difference between somebody who does that and somebody who does it and seeks refugee status? What's the difference between an illegal immigrant and an undocumented refugee who comes here illegally?
I think if there were people who were sitting at the border trying to walk into, from what I understood, that there are sort of government spots where they could walk in there and say, I'm here as a refugee, please allow me in, those places were closed down. How do you make it impossible for them not to obey the law and then arrest them and say you disobeyed the law?
What law is he disobeying by not allowing illegal immigrants in
Sir,
here?
I tell you, I'm not sure if it's United States law, if this is NATO, if this is, and we passed, we signed treaties with people saying we are going to treat refugees in this certain way.
It's not.
What's not?
It's not. You said you don't know if it's a law. It's not a law.
What is it then?
So because what you brought up,
who protects the refugees? Who gave us this? That a refugee comes in and says, "Please let me in."
I understand. I understand where you're coming from, a place of compassion, right? These people are coming.
No, please don't go there. Please don't go there. We're trying to say that. To me, a fascist is a person who. I'm not coming from compassion. I'm coming from the position
that wasn't an insult. I understand that because I'm compassionate toward these people. But rule of law does matter. Your problem is not with the United States president.
No, it's with President Trump.
It's with the United States.
No, it's with President Trump, who is breaking the law and not allowing these people to come in.
No, he's not. He's not breaking the law. I think that's important. Again, there's nothing fascist about having borders. Again, if we go back to fascism, we're talking about autocratic control of government or a racial ethno-nationalist.
You know what I haven't considered? Every time you say Orange Man, I crack up. Well, I mean, that's kind of the argument. Orange Man is bad. I mean, when was the last time you saw an orange dude? Now everyone knows who the hell you're talking about if you say Orange Man, and people lose their shit. so I'm gonna say it every time because people just lose their shit. Orange Man bad. You hate Orange Man? I hate Orange Man. Well, thank you for letting me know. Because now it's just a bit. People have made it the bit. They were like, yeah, he's orange. And it's like, you know what? Orange Man bad. That's your new motto. I don't even think the left claims that motto. But I'm here to give it to them. Orange Man bad.
If we go back to fascism, we're talking about autocratic control of government or a racial ethno-nationalist state.
Oh, yeah. I forgot what I was even going to say. You know what sounds ultra-centralized? Removing borders. We still doing Magna Carta on other people's land. Hear this. Let's remove borders. What does that do other than centralize land? If borders are division, and we get rid of borders, does that not centralize it under the fascist worldview, purview? Wouldn't an increase in demographic or groups of people be the opposite of centralization? When you have more groups, and who doesn't want more diversity? And don't y'all want diversity? But you see, this is the argument against diversity. I don't think the thing should be done in the name of diversity, but this, I'll just give you guys the argument against diversity is once you remove boundaries of what defines a people, or you remove borders of what defines a land, is that or is that not consolidation of multiple demographics into less? Or in other words, isn't that centralization of multiple groups of people? All people en masse. So, with the argument against fascism being centralization in a fight for diversity, sounds like a noble cause at face value. We fight on behalf of diversity against the centralized fascists. Well, how do you plan to do that? We get rid of all defining boundaries and borders which define different demographics. Oh, so kind of like grouping it because we're all like one, right? We're all the same? Yeah. You mean like a centralization of the humanist idea? You mean like a single idea of who we are? Can you explain to me how that's not centralized? And can you explain to me how borders, definitions, and boundaries do not bolster the very diversity that y'all advocate for? Don't we want to be clear on our differences in order to be diverse? Because if we're not clear on what makes me, me, and if we're not clear on what makes you, you, how the hell do we even know that we are upholding the standards of diversity? My argument is not even against diversity. Is the panel link in the description the right one? Oh, y'all waiting on me? Oh, y'all sure are. I see y'all right now.
How do you have 39K and you have 4 people watching?
Look, man, we're not in the live algorithm yet. Is this the Indian Jesus, man?
The one and only.
Look, man, I was just watching Speakeasy earlier today, and you were on it. I'm actually
Nice.
quite a fan of all you guys over there that do your thing. Let me just get myself on screen.
Oh.
What's up, man?
Thank you. Not too much. Saw the open panel, so figured I'd jump in and see what you're up to.
Man, you really do this, don't you? Y'all just go around looking for open panels, don't y'all? That's
I
kinda
actually
awesome.
hadn't really done it until a couple nights ago, but I did it and it seemed like a fun time, so I was like, let's keep it riding.
Well, I absolutely enjoy what you guys have been doing in the panel verse.
I personally I don't put myself in the Panaverse. I am Panaverse adjacent.
I know. I had to rip on you a little bit because I know that you might know a little bit about what's going on. Just know I'm certainly aware of who you are and your argument level and everything that you guys do. I'm truly a fan, man. I'm very honored to have you here, man. So, is there anything that you heard that you specifically wanted to discuss? Or did you
I'll be completely honest with you. I saw you were talking about Crowder, but I did not catch a lot of what you were specifically talking about. Were you covering one of his
It was
Change My Mind?
Yeah, it was a Change My Mind from over 7 years ago. Specifically, I'm doing like this debate prep for debate where the prompt is Trump is a fascist, and of course I'll be the negative if you have heard a little bit of what I've been saying. But pretty much just some debate prep. I figured I was just going to do some transformative content on Steven Crowder, basically having that same conversation with the general public. And I was just going over with people in my chat that even though the few number that there are, you can't really pay attention to the subscriber count whenever we have only, yeah, it's a struggle actually
The
getting
real
live.
ones are here, right?
Well, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, oh yeah, of course, regular people are here, but live interaction is a different story over here. Just getting into it, but what we were discussing was this woman's standard on what she holds as being fascist. Quickly, within a matter of just a couple of minutes, it falls in on itself because Steven Crowder, he took her concession of what a fascist is, which he read it out. And I actually have my own notes that are pretty much exactly on the lines, which I'm sure going back in the video, it'd probably seem very similar. Fascism is. Go ahead.
Have you been doing debates and stuff, or you just wetting your teeth? Or?
Well, I'm getting my teeth into it for the first time on the internet. I like having conversations in person, and I've always been like a edit the video and put it out as like a short or something kind of guy. And nowadays it's I felt like a call to action. Like I wasn't doing enough. I guess that was pretty much it.
So you've got this Trump is a fascist debate already set?
Well, I still have to get it scheduled, but I've gotten agreements on who it's going to be with. I know exactly who it'll be with. I know their argument style because I've spoken to them before, and I've pretty much just written a thesis on what I expect their arguments are going to be.
I feel like I could do a pretty decent job as a devil's advocate if you're interested.
Are you interested?
I'm just saying, if you want to, no, I'm on your side, but you got to understand the enemy, right?
Well, of course. I mean, and see, well, that's more or less just my approach to the entire thing. Is I start off my thesis of what I have written down as my opponent's arguments, and pretty much I have it all like consolidated to, my opponent Sawyer doesn't know, but I'm Sawyer, by the way. Sawyer doesn't know me better, doesn't know better than me because I've seen it. As a leftist, I've seen what Trump does, which of course is an appeal to an emotion, appeal to authority, and it's anecdotal fallacies just coming from personal, identification. And so many people agree with me. All of my friends agree with what I say about Trump. They say the same thing too, which would be an appeal to an ad populum fallacy. It's gonna be basically just the utilization, what I expect, of just appeals to mainly emotion, heartstrings, with the complete ignorance of what these terms like fascist actually are. Because we see that fascism mainly is a centralization, militarization. Let me go back up to my notes. Just from the start, dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in the natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interests for the perceived interest of the nation or race, and strong regimentation of society and the economy. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree.
Aside from, well, let's just probably the two least.
What do you think his strongest point? What do you think is going to be what he thinks? It's like, oh, I'm gonna get Sawyer on this. What do you think is his strongest point?
This is something that I'm completely prepared for because I expect him to say the subordination of individual interest for the perceived interest of the nation or race. Which my immediate argument is going to be, okay, could you point to me anybody who's trying to earn an electorate large enough to get them into a presidential race that isn't going to adhere to a large group of people rather than the individual? Don't you want to appeal to the largest group possible in order to earn that vote? So just under the natural order and nature of the democratic republic that we have in the United States today, there's absolutely no way for at least that tenet of fascism to apply. And also possibly strong regimentation of society and the economy, which is, once again, isn't that what we all want? What is a strong regimentation of society and economy?
You think so? You would think
Yeah.
so, but I don't know that they would agree. I think that there's a lot of people who think about rigidity and strictness in a government, and they see that as, especially when they tie it to things like Christianity. Like I said, I personally am not a believer, but I definitely have respect for the role of Christianity in America's past. But a lot of people who are non-believers will conflate that and all the bad things about the past and anything they will throw into to Christianity. So are you a Christian?
Yeah, yeah. Certainly
So
just by means of to live in obeyance of God. I don't really do the label game. I like to I like to look at what people do. Which so I try to obey God, and that's what defines my Christianity.
So if they come, if your opponent comes in and is talking about how very clearly in the Christian church they want to oppress women and gays and this and that, that sounds like fascism to me.
Well, I would just follow Charlie Kirk's example, and the first thing, well, not Charlie Kirk, Steven Crowder. I'd follow Steven Crowder's example in that video. The first thing that he did was find a consistency in terms. Okay, well, what is fascist? Would you agree that this is what a fascist is? Yes, okay, we have an agreement on what this definition of fascism is, which she totally conceded to a definition that he laid out. At that point, she has laid out the standard that the criticism can be held against both his side and hers, either side of the argument. We see that it doesn't apply to who Donald Trump is as a president. Steven Crowder brought up, well, what about President Obama? And she immediately claimed, oh, you're switching the goalpost, you're changing the topic, whereas just, well, no, we've seen that your standard doesn't apply how you claim that your criticisms stand, but we can see that they applied to maybe someone in the past that you advocated for. And it's like you said, in a way, pulling out things from the history. I think that that's mainly the left's, that's what the left does en masse, is they pull emotional heartstrings using trigger terms like fascist and schnatchy in order to just tie people to an axiom that we all understand what those things are, specifically schnatchies. I mean, who would not want to get rid of the
Well, and
evil
that's
authoritarians?
that's their strength, is that the average person doesn't necessarily have the, whether it's the time, the care, whatever it is, to look into anything and everything. And so whatever the mainstream message is, then it doesn't matter that like, even to the most egregious example, it doesn't matter that that the fine people on both sides thing was not about schnazis. It was about people protesting the statues. That if this person is willing, and I don't, I'm not familiar with this person, but if this person is willing to throw underhanded tactics, it's a very, very easy to make Trump look like a worse guy than he is. And I think we have to acknowledge, as people who voted for Trump, that he was clearly the best option for politician, but he's not a good guy. He's not something that I mean, you probably don't want your daughter around him alone or whatever if you have one, but that doesn't mean that that is the only thing that we're looking for, and that if there was an option where we didn't have a weird, a somewhat corrupt, somewhat egotistical person, then yeah, we'd vote for that. But Trump was clearly the best. They are very good at taking that fact and just isolating the bad things of Trump and pretending that all other politicians don't do any bad things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the individualist ideology against individualism. They all have their personal interpretation about, well, this is how this makes me feel, and you should feel that way too. Because once we're all individualized, then we'll have this perfect utopia. Once we all appeal to those of us who are willing to appeal to emotion, we'll have this perfect utopia of, we'll all adhere to each other's emotion. We won't have to call each other these outlandish, trigger provocative names like fascist and schnazis, because we'll all adhere to individualism. But I think once you make us all the same, you
So
completely
what
remove
do you know what
individualism.
platform this debate's gonna be on?
It'll be here. It'll be here on this channel on YouTube. Just as soon as I
Okay, so
get it scheduled, I'm gonna go ahead and
you
schedule it.
don't have your people there. Because that's a tough thing that, like, depending on the channel, depending on the platform, it could really help whether you got your people in the chat or whether you got other people's on other chats.
Yeah, well, I mean, I try to go after people that have somewhat of a following, just because, not even to have more of an, of course, more of an audience always helps, but I do want people to just not be alone. If they have people that like watching them do what they do, then I encourage them. Even if they stream, come stream it yourself. That way, if you normally stream, I'm not taking money away from you. You can still earn while you do what you normally do. But yeah, I mean, I'm outsourcing everything from a moderator to hopefully a host too. But I may be hosting it myself. But yeah, you're certainly right. The environment of a debate can certainly, I don't know, it can certainly shift the dynamic. All it takes is one comment.
So, are you like? Is this? Who did you say the debate was supposed to be against?
It's someone I didn't say, but it's someone that I've had a couple of skirmishes with online. I'm in this. It's a group called Open Train of Thought. It's a Facebook group, and it's mainly just political ideologies that clash. People go into the comments and they talk about it. And every time I find someone who's actually willing to have more than just a couple of exchanges with me, I'm like, well, since you seem actually willing to have the conversation, would you like to come and do it on a YouTube live and say, we don't have a whole lot of viewers, but we got a lot of subscribers. So if it does well, it'll really do well. But if it doesn't do well, well, then no harm, no foul. And then most of the time,
Alright,
people
well-
still just say no.
Well, I'm here. Let's get into something.
I don't know. I'm right behind you, man. Let me just see. I just want to make sure, because I'm guessing I caught you right on time, right before it was too late. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me just run through a couple of. We gotta maybe hopefully have a disagreement on something, right? Like, we can't think completely the same way on everything.
I mean, I don't love arguing Christianity because I do have a big respect for that, but I do actually not believe it.
Well, I mean, I understand that. Well, more importantly, just the religious debate kind of gets old. It gets boring.
It does, right?
Because
So how about something like this? Because I definitely came from, I came from a more liberal perspective, and I've shifted right as the culture has changed.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about I just lost it. Hold on. How do you feel about the notion that marriage equality, aka gay marriage, was the beginning of the slippery slope that led to transing the kids?
Couldn't you just take it further than back and say that the beginning of feminism was what ultimately led to that, and DEI and
Yeah, that would be my
yeah,
argument, because a lot
yeah.
of people say, "Oh, gay marriage happened."
Yeah, well,
Right,
yeah,
that's civilization.
that I completely, I'm behind that. I think that ultimately the suffragette movement was what opened the door to all of this
Okay, so then
individualism.
how do you feel about the 19th Amendment? Should we repeal
I
it?
was talking about it earlier. I even said earlier that the women like who Steven Crowder was talking to, she can cancel out your damn vote. It doesn't matter who you are. If she disagrees with it, it can just be taken away or canceled out. I don't think that it should be repealed, but I do think that we need to implement cognitive tests for more things than just voting. I think that you should have cognitive
You're
tests.
too rational, man. You're too rational.
If you're going to have a driver's license, I probably say that more often than not. People who have driver's licenses need regular cognitive tests, especially if you're going to vote on policies that affect an entire nation. And
All right.
it's
Well,
kind of a
speaking
must.
of speakeasy, I have a debate on legalizing the toots of pros. You know, the streetwalkers.
Oh yeah, you
How do you feel
do.
about the legalization of the toots?
I think you can't legalize what's locked in a cage.
Let's go.
I say,
Legalize it.
no, you say legalize? I say
Legalize it,
you
baby.
can't legalize what you lock in a cage.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I think that women of the street should be put away, far, far away from society.
Okay, so let's go.
I'm a practicing Christian.
And I am definitely not.
Well,
So
okay. Well,
okay,
so it should they should be. I guess the prompt that you said was okay. So I'd be affirmative. So what do you want me to give you my reasoning why on why it should be gotten rid of prostitution?
Yeah.
Well, the best argument that I can probably come up with off the top of my head, and ironically, I've never really thought too hard of this, and other than oh, that's gross, is we could probably implement those who would advocate for prostitution. They probably adhere. We could appeal to something that they would regularly adhere to. Which would you utilize the harm principle as to why we should allow prostitution?
I think that's a part of it. Yeah.
It would harm me if I didn't get to do this.
No. That I think the harm to the women and men who engage in it specifically is when it can be regulated, then we have ways to put in safety measures. And so, just like with, just like with cannabis or drugs in general, if it is strictly on the black market, then it is whatever you get. Whereas if we and I mean, I personally I don't do this, and I don't think that
course
anybody
not.
else should do this. But from a libertarian perspective, I don't see any reason why two consenting adults who want to do X thing that's not harming anybody else shouldn't be able to do it. And then to address specifically what you're saying about harm, the propensity for harm, whether it is a woman being SA'd or something, or just either one of them catching diseases, anything like that. The fact that there's no testing and stuff, the likelihood of harm goes up when it is driven underground.
Okay. Do we have to appeal to harm that could be applied to any demographic when when we've deleted the act at let's just say for the most part you want to legalize it for what we can just dial down to a harm principle of ways that it can do opposite of harm and rather help those that would utilize prostitution. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm asking like that if we can just consolidate your argument, prostitution good because it alleviate me.
So prostitution is not good, but the freedom to do what one
so we should
wants with their own body.
legalize something that's not good.
Yeah, there's plenty of things that are legal that are not good. I don't think the government is the arbiter of morality.
There are, but should we legalize is a normative prompt. We can talk about what is, but that doesn't mean what should be. So we should legalize something, even if under your own standard.
I think that using the government as the arbiter of morality and saying, because we think it's bad, therefore it should be illegal. I'm not saying that no bad thing should be illegal, but if we're saying it's bad, therefore it should be illegal, then is outsourcing our morality to the government. And then if the government says it's okay, then it's good. And the government says nuh-uh, then it's bad. And I don't trust the government to make those kind of distinctions. And I would think that as a Christian, that you would appeal to your Christianity and your spirituality before you would appeal to your government. And so I think
absolutely right.
Overall, whether you're a Christian or not, we all would be better off in a society where people, because of their values, decide you and you and you and you and you should not be engaging in prostitution, whether you are the man or the woman, versus, well, I mean, it's legal or it's illegal, so you shouldn't do it.
Well, under Christianity, I would actually advocate for the separation of church and state, state being just statewide and
Right.
even it being extended to the federal, meaning society, or at least the society that I want, would revolve around the church and the teachings that are handed down through the church, specifically
Right.
from the apostles.
Right. So if
So
everybody's
yeah, I
following that, then why do we need?
I wouldn't want the government making decisions on my behalf either.
Right.
But it's not for the
So
sake of
if the Christian ethic is so strong in America, which we have majority Christians, and then we have people like myself who are not Christians but still
self-ID'd
respect the Christian
Christians.
ethic. Either way,
Yeah.
if we have all these people who are following Christian ethics, whether or not they believe in this, that, or the other, they're following the Christian ethics. Then doesn't that already give us the prevention from the degeneracy that you are trying to appeal to in making it illegal? Why do we need the law? Why do we need the government, the earthly human government, to do it if the spiritual aspect is very clear that this is no good?
Well, that's exactly why I brought up self-ID'd Christians. I think that there are more people that would ID themselves as Christians for the sake of, their social credit score before they would actually live the life. I think more people are going to title themselves as a Christian to run away from social shaming before they will actually just call out what they follow themselves, what they actually do. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
say again.
I agree. I think that's I think that's an inherent problem with Christianity, but
Yeah.
that seems like a
So
conversation for another day.
I wouldn't look at Christianity as it is represented in a nation that I wouldn't agree with you is predominantly a Christian nation anymore. You said it's predominantly a Christian nation. It's predominantly a Christian nation if we appeal to people who identify themselves as Christian. But I mean, we can regularly see only
Well,
for the first time recently have non-Christian folk lost popular
he's
votes
been
in
taking over.
presidential
I
elections.
call it the ortho bro bump. Andrew Wilson and them have, there's been a slight uptick in Christianity, but for the last, I
There
think,
really
40,
has.
60 years, the numbers have been going down.
Well,
And so if that is
yeah.
the case, then that the adherence to Christianity or people identifying as Christians or following Christian ethics, if that's going down, then doesn't that even further benefit society by building up the culture instead of, again, outsourcing our morality to the government? I don't see how anything that is bad, the
Yeah,
government says no. How does that then not make the government a higher authority than Christianity?
what informs seeking guidance of morality from the government? What informs you that's tied to what I'm saying?
Because I think it's a level of
Because I just said that I advocate for the separation of church and state. In my idea world, the church informs society. So yeah,
Right.
the government's not involved.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So there wouldn't be a
Yeah.
law against something because the government's not involved.
Well, yeah, I
That's
don't think that there would
legalization.
be a law. I just think that there should be outcasts of
So
society, and if you're going to
okay,
go
so if
against the
there's no
church,
law that says something is illegal, what is the status of that activity?
if there is not
No,
a
there's
law,
no law.
there's no law
If
that
there's
says
no
something is
law,
illegal. What is the status of the activity?
correct.
I guess free reign,
Legal.
which
It is legal.
a slight hole in my argument would I guess
I
be
mean, that's the whole
advocate.
problem.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, a slight hole that I noticed in what I just said, I guess I didn't cover my tracks well enough, so I may have misspoke on one thing, because without the federal or without the state, you have no, I guess, law as we see them in the United States today. But once again, with the separation of church and state, even the state and the government, the federal government, would be informed by the church. So, yeah, there would be law. It just wouldn't be from the government. It would be from the church, because the top-down idea of Christianity would be God, church, government, then the home.
So are we agreeing that we both want these ethics to be strong enough in society that there's no need for the government to get involved with it. That okay, people are always going to do bad things. So there's
Well,
no there's
I
no
want borders. So I do want a nation included in the lawmaking. I just don't think that the government should inform its own laws. I think the government should apply laws and enforce them. But once again, I think that the laws and the ideas of how we should live our lives or our ethics should be informed by the church, because ethics are religious based. More specifically Christianity, because all ethics of most religions, damn near all of them, those ethics are borrowed from Christianity too. So I think that it should all be informed by the church, even the government and their law making policies.
right. I think, and that's the crux of my argument about kind of kneecapping the strength of that influence. The more that is outsourced to the government, I would assume you're somewhat familiar with Jordan Peterson. Is he was talking. He would talk about how we have to, number one, we have to recognize that we all have the capability to do horrible things, and it's the capability plus the prevention of doing those things. I'm botching it completely, but the ability
I
to do
follow.
horrible things and the choice not to do those things is what is morality, and the inability to do bad things is not morality. And so if we're talking about Christian morality or just morality, whatever, we're just talking about morality, and we're saying this is what is moral and that is not right, then that should already be enough of a reason for people not to do it. So that begs the question. So if that is already how Christian ethics stand, and then why are people not following that?
So your argument for legalizing prostitution, I just want to make sure I'm getting this right, is that you know it's bad. You've said it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
You can concede that bad things should not be legal. At least, well, that's
No,
yeah. I guess that's
completely.
that's a straw man way of putting it.
Yeah.
I said you that what I asked you specifically. I don't remember what specifically I asked you, but you've conceded that prostitution is not necessarily good.
Yeah, I think it's bad.
Perhaps not even necessarily bad, but in most cases we can see that it has a negative effect.
Yes, agreed.
But it can
But
help some people, so we should legalize it.
no, I just don't. Again, it doesn't matter whether it can help or harm. Is there a justified reason why the government specifically should be the one saying, "Don't do this"? So, I mean,
Well, I I guess under
alcohol
the
is
government that
harmful.
we have nowadays, I guess not, because once again we see a turn away from Christianity. So I guess in a secular world where the government and the lawmaking processes aren't informed by the church, there would be there would be no reason for it not to be legal. There'd be no reason for there not to be incentives to do it if it's what your heart desires. But I think that's what's so antithetical to, once again, the people who would probably advocate for the legalization of such a thing as prostitution, probably en masse also appeal to the harm system or the harm principle.
Maybe they would, but I'm
Yeah,
not. I'm saying,
perhaps you don't. But
yeah. So I'm
if
saying that, like, so drinking alcohol is not good for you, right?
yeah, I'd say it's not good for your health. Like
But it's not illegal to be an
I smoke
alcoholic, right?
cigarettes and I regularly say it's not good for your health, and you shouldn't smoke because it's not good for your
So
health.
should it be illegal for you to smoke cigarettes?
I wouldn't have a problem if it would if it were. It would be a great reason for me to quit. Let me not do something illegal.
So, okay, fair. Then you personally, maybe you have much a stronger willpower than most people. And if they made it illegal, you woke up and you got an email and they said, "Hey, nationwide, cigarettes are illegal." And you, as a pious patriot, are saying, "Hey, I'm not going to break any laws. So, as much as I want a cigarette, I'm not going to smoke a cigarette."
But you can
Good for you.
concede that there are
Good for you. Hold on,
external
hold on.
benefits.
Hold on. Let me just land the plane.
Yeah.
So so great. Yeah, we have people who are going. You make a law, and people won't break that law because of the fact that it's a law. But do you think the overwhelming majority of people, or not even the over, do you think 51% or more of cigarette smokers would not smoke because of that law?
I think it'd be
They would all
impossible.
quit.
I think it'd be impossible to tell
Why do you say that?
because I can't determine the reaction, not even in an idea of populum, to being able to proportionalize it to a percentage, even as dull as 51% being a simple majority. I don't think that there's any way to tell. I don't think that there would be any way to
Okay.
predict that.
All right, fine. I'll narrow it down even
And
further. So,
yeah,
so I think we could agree that not every single cigarette smoker would just stop cold turkey because they said it's now illegal.
we'll
You agree
just
with
we'll
that?
just go ahead and concede that less than 51%, 49% or less would actually change their ways. We'll just
Okay,
go ahead
fair
and
enough.
concede that.
So some portion of people who were law-abiding citizens are now criminals. You're okay as a smoker until tonight with there being legal consequences around the people that you're outside the bar smoking with yesterday.
Am I fine with there being legal consequences against people that break the law? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm fine with if you break this law,
So is there?
then you get in trouble for it. Yeah. And even if I disagree with the law, it's the upholding of these laws that I both agree with and disagree with that gives me the nation that I know today. Which is
I
kind of
mean,
like it's kind of like anti-fascist as hell. I don't agree with this. I know a lot of people that don't agree with this, and still I got to live by it just to keep the nation alive that is the United States. I mean, not everything is supposed to be for me. So yeah, if I'm doing something that's illegal,
okay,
I
I
should
mean,
get
hey,
in
fair
trouble.
enough, man. I mean, I've got my vices, and where sometimes
Oh yeah.
they've been legal, and sometimes they haven't, and without getting too specific, and without, I don't feel any moral qualm with doing something that I can see is not immoral yet illegal. And so then what I'm trying to drive at is that if you're saying, okay, I'm Sawyer, and I'm okay with if they say smoking cigarettes is illegal starting tomorrow, and anybody who smokes a cigarette tomorrow who's already been addicted, you're going to go to jail. Let's say they treat it like cannabis in the states where cannabis is illegal. That if you're
Okay.
caught with one cigarette, you're getting locked up. Maybe you get a slap on the wrist, maybe probation, whatever, but you're getting arrested. I don't know how helpful to society that would actually be.
You don't
Do you
know
think it would
how.
benefit society? Because you said we'll say, okay, it's not 51, but let's say it's somewhere between 0 and or somewhere between 1 and 49% of smokers are not going to quit simply because the law has changed. Not quit
Yeah.
immediately, rather. And so for somewhere between 1 and 49% of smokers, they are now becoming criminals, even though they were doing the same things that they were law-abiding, patriotic Americans yesterday.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm failing to see the dilemma.
The dilemma is that maybe you have a very strong respect for the law, so much so that you could overcome an addiction and not smoke simply because the government said that.
Yeah. Well,
I
I think
I
that
don't.
there are adverse
I've been an addict
external
before.
effects.
Well, I've been an addict before, and I knew that what I was doing was illegal the whole time, and I very much wanted to stop doing what I was doing, but it took a lot more than just the law to stop me. And
Would
there
you have ever
are
stopped if it were legal, and to this day we're still legal?
probably. I think, yeah, I think big a
So
big aspect of it.
you're probably really glad that it was legalized because it helped you stop, right?
I don't know. That's a good point, but that is a good point. But that has to do with me specifically and the fact
Well,
that
yeah.
I'm popping on little shooters because I miss the feeling of being a DGen.
I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. It's better. It's better. You know what? Fuck it. You know what?
But no, the point is, I think that you're not taking into account the fact that you are okay with other people. You're okay with people who are law-abiding citizens today because the government says XYZ. They wake up and do the exact same thing, and now they deserve to be in prison.
Yeah, when laws change, the consequences change. Like depending on what you do, it changes. Now, I'm
Okay.
behind cigarettes. This specific example, I'm behind cigarettes, even alcohol. I'm sipping with you.
So, so how did you feel about people losing their jobs for not taking the jab during the lockdowns?
Oh, that completely outrageous. But it wasn't a law that
So why is that
everybody get
different?
that.
And that's because that wasn't even technically that wasn't even
Because
the
it was not
government.
not
Technically, that
turned
was
into a federal policy that you have to get this. It was never
okay.
turned into
Fine,
that.
but we're speaking
We're talking
about
about
morality,
laws. Yeah, we're
right? Okay,
talking
but we're
about
talking
if
about
you
the
do
morality
this, then
behind the
you are
laws.
legally, yeah, we're talking about if you do this, you are legally held responsible. Who was held legally responsible for not doing the jab?
The people who didn't take it, and if corporations had people who
So
kept on
due so
people
due
who
to
didn't
their
have it.
personal policy, they fired people. Yeah. Who was legally reprimanded? You're talking about companies firing people. They don't need a reason to do that.
No, I know that. But wait,
So,
well,
so,
are we
so,
gonna?
yeah. Well, now if we're talking about laws,
Which
if
is
we're talking about
okay.
laws, then
Yeah,
we're
fair
talking
enough.
about
But wait, I
legal
just want to. Can I
reprimands.
okay, I just want to establish something. Are you under the impression that all of the corporations everywhere decided on their own that they wanted to fire people
Oh,
who didn't get the jab? Or
absolutely
do you
not.
think
But we can obviously concede that those who said no, we're not going to follow this bandwagon, most of them are still all right today because everyone got past the bullshit. We all saw
not all
en
the
masse America turned against the
not all the people
vaccine.
who lost their jobs? And so that's my
Well, yeah,
point
no,
is that
not all
okay, yeah,
them, no.
the corporations aren't going to get any legal issues because they're going to follow the law because they don't give a crap about you and your livelihood. If you now won't take this experimental drug, you now don't deserve to be able to feed your family. And so this goes back to the notion of just because the government says doesn't mean that it's right or
Oh no. I hope we're not losing them. Hold on, y'all. Uh-oh. I'm gonna stay in here. I'm not gonna. Yo, are you good? You still here? Okay. I don't think I can. Oh yeah, you're muted. Yeah, you're muted. Let's see if I can fix that. Yeah. Oh yeah, you got to do it yourself. It says I can't unmute you because you chose to mute yourself. Oh shoot.
test.
Okay, no, we got you. I
Okay,
got
sorry
you.
about that.
No,
I swear I
you're
froze.
just fine. I StreamYard for you.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, what you're advocating for is the government to be the decider of what is right and wrong. And so,
Like the big companies, you're tying it into the big companies with the
yeah.
jab. Yeah.
Mm. So why is that? Like that's why, especially as somebody, because like, fine, if I'm talking to some hedonistic leftist atheist that doesn't believe in anything and whatever, we're not all like that, I promise.
Yeah.
But if I'm talking to one of them, then and they say, well, yeah, the government says it's illegal, so then it's bad, and the government says it's legal, then it's good. Like that makes sense to me. But as a Christian, I think we can see various times throughout history where there was religious persecution and things were legal or illegal, but they weren't moral or the morality didn't line up with that. And so
Yeah.
again, I'm coming back to this notion of why do we want the government to be the determination of what is right and wrong?
Well, the government and what I see is the government isn't necessarily determining this. Not that prostitution is. I mean, well, okay, I'll put it as simply. Maybe I could probably be a lot more simple with my speech as well, because I certainly I'm not very simple with my ideas of bringing upon topics. So hopefully I can do better with my speech now. Um, prostitution being illegal, or rather, let's just even just say looked down upon or shamed or anti-normative, something that you should not do. In this case, when it comes to prostitution, the idea of it being wrong, and you brought up morality, the idea of it being morally wrong is an appeal to church ethic before it was ever an appeal to national policy or law. So once again, under my idea of
So
the church being separated from the state, if we can see that this ethic came from the church first, it's not even necessarily, it's me saying, yeah, okay, sure, the government can implement that, but that's because it believes with what I consistently believe upon all other basis, that these things should be informed by the church. Doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with all of them. Like, let's say you, Indian Jesus, you and me, we can't go on StreamYard, and we can't have debates, and we can't speak with people that disagree with us. Are you good?
well, yeah, sorry, my other stream just messed up. Hold on. You good? Keep going.
No, you're just fine. Well, I was saying I'm not gonna agree with any law that says something can or cannot be done. Of course, it's gonna have to follow my Christian ethic, and I'm against the legalization of prostitution, simply informed by my Christian ethic.
But see, that comes back to all right. Let me try it from a different direction then. So I think your Christian ethic would say that cheating on your wife would be not acceptable, correct?
Yeah, not acceptable.
So then, and you and I would agree on that. I'm not a believer, but I'm not a religious believer, but I would completely agree that if you're in a committed relationship with someone, then you should not cheat on them. But I would not want adultery to be illegal. Would you?
Well, why would I'll answer you, and then you can answer a question from mine.
Sure.
Let's say why not? Why not? I'll just stay consistent with my standard when it comes to what should and should not be illegal. Let's say, yeah, adultery should be completely illegal. Why not?
Because of individual liberty. So
for
let's say
individualism,
that-
well,
yeah,
my
absolutely.
individual liberty says that you get no individual liberty. What about my individual liberty, bro?
Wait, can you say that one more time?
My individual liberty dictates that this is wrong, and that it's wrong for you to do it, and it's wrong for me to do it, against your
That's not
own
what
individual
means.
liberty. Well, yeah, individual, yeah,
Individual means one person.
my individualism contradicts yours. So
Sure,
who do
that's
we
not what
who do
I'm not
we
saying.
who do
No,
we
no, no.
appeal to?
So that's what I'm saying. We appeal to the individual, not an individual.
Who is the individual?
I'll explain it. Any one individual, their liberty goes above the utilitarian causes of, well, this could be good for society, that could be bad for society. What is important is the fact that individuals can express their individuality. Your right to move your fist stops where my nose goes. So the fact of the reason that I brought adultery up is like, okay, again, fine, maybe you personally would want adultery to be illegal because you personally wouldn't do it, but then you're also saying that, hey, any of you out there who's ever cheated, I think you should be thrown in jail. And I are you really saying that?
Well,
And
no,
if you
because
are, then I think that's a
if
pretty
you're asking me
extreme
if adultery should be illegal, you said that everyone who's ever cheated. That doesn't mean that let's say we make adultery illegal
no, if somebody
today.
cheats in the future.
Yeah,
So if somebody
okay, yeah. I don't want to go back and find everyone who's ever cheated and say, look,
right,
the
right,
law
right.
changed today, so yesterday you're fucked.
Yeah, so
But
so that's what I'm saying. So that means tomorrow and in the future, anybody who cheats on their wife then has then can be thrown in jail.
okay.
And so if you're on board with that, then what outside you were just talking about the separation of church and state. So what justification do you have for again throwing two consenting adults
because
not
the
harming, not
church
physically
came up
harming
with
anybody.
it thousands of years ago.
Okay, but you're the one.
Yes,
You're the one,
our few 100-year-old government happens to agree with it.
brother.
Therefore, I
You're the
back the
one who brought
government.
up the separation of church and state.
Yeah, the
I'm not.
separation of
I'm not.
churches, meaning the state does not inform the church. That's what separation of church and state is. It means that the
Okay, so
state
then
cannot
just
control the
because.
church. But
Okay,
under a
so then
Christian
if the
ideology,
church
the
does not
church,
inform the state,
yeah,
if the church
under a
does not
Christian
inform the state, even
ideology,
though
the
the church
church
says,
does inform the state because everything is informed by the church. The church would
okay, so
inform all from God to the people. That would be the point of the church.
okay, but then again, then you're talking. What then? Okay, so maybe I'm confused. Then why did you bring up the separation of church and state earlier?
Because
If
you
you
said
want
that,
the
because,
laws to follow
yeah,
the
because you
church.
said that I was appealing to the government. Well, not appealing. Appealing is not the right word. That I was fine with the government dictating what is right and what is wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm behind the church dictating what is right and what is wrong because that's who informs my ethics. I'm told by the church, and under a Christian purview, the church is the informer from God to all man, or those that would at least turn their face upon God and go to church to hear the word. Therefore,
Check
under the
check the product chat
ideal,
real quick.
oh yeah, under the ideal Christian world, more people than we see today would be informed by the church. That's my only point.
I feel like you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. Either we have the laws that are based on the Christian church, or we have a separation of church and state. I'm right here.
Okay, I want the separation of church and state where the state is not in control of the church, but I want the church to inform the state, not as a separate. I mean, I get
Right.
it, but yeah,
So I feel like that.
by separation, I want it separated as we know today. I want a completely reform of the I want a reform of the hierarchy between the church and the state, and I want the state to not be in control of the church, and I want it to be as it was when the church was founded, where the church informed the state. And that was also a
Okay, but then
separation of church and state because the state could not control the state could not control the church. But the church
so you
informed the
want the
state.
church to be able to control the state, but not the
Well,
church to
not be
want the
able to
state to be able
control,
to control
even
the
under
church.
the Christian nation that the United States was built on. It was built on Christian ideology. I can say that. I guess somewhat it was built on Christian ideology as it was understood by then. But even under a Christian nation, different states were allowed to do what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even under the idea of the separation of church and state, states were still able to, I guess, spread out what they wanted to do amongst their people respectively. Meanwhile, the church stayed ubiquitous. It stayed as an axiom, a singularity. And even to this day, through secular nations, secular leaning states, where we see the population, whether they are Christian or secular, once again, it's all borrowed from Christian ideology.
Yeah, I agree with that. So maybe I misunderstood. Could you articulate one more time the reason why you think that? Because before I asked about alcohol, and you're talking about how alcohol is harmful, so you would be okay with it being
No,
illegal.
it's
Can you give me
not harmful. It's bad for your health. I don't appeal to harm. I mean, shit hurts people. But
okay? Can we dig into that a little bit? Because I
yeah.
think
Well,
I
I
get
mean,
what you're
harm is
saying, but
subjective. Something that takes a scientific, like an effect on the inside of your body, is a bit more objective than you hurt me, you hurt my feelings. Now, if we're talking about physical pain, that of course is objective. But then we have to differentiate how all these things that can cause harm, whether they cause physical harm or emotional harm, which I guess that
well,
that
let's
overcomplicates
stick
it.
within physical harm, because I don't really
Yeah,
care about people's feelings. I mean, I do, but
agreed.
not
No,
legally. Not
I'm with
legally.
you.
So let's talk about physical harm. We can agree that alcohol is physically harmful to the body.
Yeah.
And you said because of that, if it was and correct me if I'm wrong, because of the fact that it is harmful to the body, that if tomorrow it was made illegal, then you would be okay with someone who knows now drinking is illegal and they drank because they're an alcoholic, they should be thrown in jail. Is that correct or incorrect?
If they were caught drinking, then they should be put in jail. Just a law against drinking.
And so that's justification.
Well, once again,
because
well,
of the
yeah,
law, and that's it?
I'll have to walk that back. I'll have to walk that back, specifically on the smoking and drinking. I'll give you that. I'll have
Okay.
to walk that back, specifically on smoking and drinking. Some things may be physically harmful, because I just thought about it. We could even break it down to tattoos. And I've got tattoos myself under my shirt. And I'm not really with the body is a temple argument. I understand what it means, but it doesn't mean that we're supposed to vilify our bodies.
I am.
Yeah, was it? I don't think that drinking and smoking and getting tattoos is It's
Okay.
not like you're not validated. Yeah.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
yeah.
So then why
It's not
is
non-vilification, I
so
guess
so
is what
then
I'm trying to say.
totally fair. So then what is the differentiation, the legal differentiation we are making there with prostitution? Because we've agreed that alcohol and drugs are bad. They are physically harmful.
You
They
said
don't align with Christian ethics. You're
non-legal, or you want the legal.
well. I'm just asking the difference. Why is there a different categorization for smoking and drinking, in your personal opinion? Because we all agree that all three, smoking, drinking, prostitution, they're all physically harmful. They're all against God's word. They're all against the ethics. They're all harmful to
No,
society.
drinking is not
But
against
you're
God's
okay with
word.
these two being legal. But when it
Nah,
comes to
drinking is not against God's word. Do you know drinking is
okay,
not
so
against God's word? Getting
fair,
belligerently
okay,
drunk. I mean, Jesus's
okay.
first
So
miracle was turning water to wine for a house party.
fair.
So
So
drinking itself is
fine.
not bad.
Okay, so then, because it's fine. So you walked back when you said that you would be okay with drinking would be illegal. Totally fair. Would you walk back, or I mean, you didn't really say that, but would you be okay with there being some type of law where if you are an alcoholic, I'm not talking about the drunk tank. I'm talking about you can get arrested and charged and be sent to prison, or be on probation
Yeah,
for
just
5 years,
a different
some
due
type of thing
process than
because
what
of
we
the
have
fact that you're an
today.
alcoholic.
Yeah,
Say again?
just a different due process of what we have about it today. Something other than just a drunk tank. Like a full due process of actual legal proceedings
Right.
because
Would
it's
someone,
illegal.
and we're not talking
Yeah.
about actually drinking the alcohol. We're not talking about whether you drove drunk or whether you harmed anyone. The aspect of being an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Is that something that you would be comfortable that the state can prosecute people for being an alcoholic? Not for drinking, not for, let's say they've never drove drunk in their life, they've never harmed anyone but themselves, but they are unabashedly an alcoholic and they will admit to it. Should
I'd
that
have to
person have
I'd have to make sure not to be talking back through the semantics of what an alcoholic is. Yeah, I
okay,
guess my first question would be, well, what's an alcoholic?
fair enough.
Because
Let's say
we could probably hear a whole bunch of different arguments about an alcoholic is dependent on how much you drink, and other people will say arguments that an alcohol is dependent on how you act after you drink. So I mean,
okay, so
I
let's
guess I'd
make
be
it
wondering what the actual semantic of alcoholic is.
okay, fair enough. So for the purposes of this conversation, not this
Yeah,
doesn't need to go out to the rest of the world, but just
yeah,
for the
just for
purposes
the
of trying
argument's
to get
sake.
our worldviews. Let's say an alcoholic is anybody who has a negative emotional reaction if they don't get a regular dose of alcohol,
It's like a
whether that is
withdrawal.
once a day, once a week, once a month.
Yeah.
They have a regular schedule of alcohol and they have negative feelings, even if they're just like, shucks. They have negative feelings because most people, if you don't have the alcohol, it's like, man, I don't love to drink right now, but like, all right, whatever. So if you have negative feelings towards missing the regularity of your drinking schedule, should
So
that person be legally legally viable or viable? That's not the word.
Accountable.
There you go.
Yeah.
Should that person be legally accountable for anything, or are they just an alcoholic?
Well, we went from I don't know. I don't know. I'm scared to answer that question because we went from alcohol being illegal to just having the urge for alcohol being illegal.
Well, and I'm not trying to tie like we now with the
No,
right
well,
now. I'm
for
not trying
for
to
the sake
tie.
of the argument, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
just
not
for
trying
the
to.
sake
Yeah,
of the
I'm not trying to
argument.
got you. I'm legitimately just trying to understand
Yeah. Well, no,
where
you're trying to find the boundaries of my own belief system. You're
Yeah.
trying to discover the epistemology that informs what I believe. I get it.
I can get heated, but I don't do gotchas.
Nah, dude. I once again, I'm aware of you. I like you, dude.
Appreciate that.
Of course, man. You guys, I watch y'all every day. Um, man, just being an alcoholic. I guess would the due process involved bypass any kind of what do they call prison? It's not prison, it's reform. Would the due process of alcoholism bypass reform and go straight to punishment in that case? Because normally they'll give a chance, you can normally make an appeal to these types of things by agreeing to go through a program. Would the due process change as well?
No, the due process would be the same. But so I don't necessarily need a clear legal system. So you're saying
Yeah.
that you are not even if being an alcoholic as defined as having negative feelings from diversion from a regular schedule of alcohol, that should not necessarily put somebody in jail. I think I feel like we could agree that that person is not, even though we agree again that being an alcoholic
Yeah.
is not a good thing. That if somebody who drinks a glass of wine every Friday night at dinner and they thought they had a bottle, but they screwed up and didn't realize that they forgot to pick up a bottle, and they're like, "Oh man, I really wanted that glass of wine."
Yeah.
Like, I think we could agree that that person does not need to be
No,
arrested.
yeah. I can agree with that. Yeah.
So then it comes down, as you pointed out, it comes down to the difference between people actually physically doing things. So I think, I mean, if you disagree, but I think alcohol is a good analog here to prostitution because of the fact that it is harmful. There are levels, and there is different levels of harm as well. So I guess the question would be, if is there a level where you would think that someone drinking regularly in and of itself would be worth a legal intervention? Or would there have to be some aggravating circumstance, like they drove drunk or they hit their wife?
Just some circumstance?
Yeah, any.
Well,
So
yeah,
again, the
because
question is,
I believe that most circumstances would involve like other penalties. Like you
right,
just said, like you might hit a wife. Well, then we're going from the actual alcohol being the problem to an assault being the issue.
right. So I'm saying
Yeah.
without any of those other aggravating things,
Yeah.
would you agree that somebody who is what we would agree is an alcoholic doesn't deserve to be legally doesn't deserve any legal repercussions because of the fact that they're an alcoholic? It would need for them to either drive drunk or do something like that first.
For just being the alcoholic, no, I think that at some point reform should be enforced, especially if we see a detriment. If we see a person that's causing a detriment to their own life, I mean, it'd be hard to argue that someone who at least is a functioning enough part of society to be able to earn the alcohol to be an alcoholic or to be able to pay for it, I guess external of benefits, which would not be most Americans. I mean, somewhat being an alcoholic on that level would affect others. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly exactly the point that I would be driving at with the prostitution is
Oh,
that there's no question
me too.
that
Yeah.
having prostitutes in society, having men who are able and willing to go see prostitutes, those are not good things for society. But that is not a justification enough, in my personal opinion, to make something illegal. Bad things are legal, and it is up to individuals, and it's up to the culture, namely a Christian based culture, even if it's not directly a Christian culture, to inform individuals to have a culture to not do bad things. Otherwise, just you could do whatever you want as long as you don't get caught.
Yeah, so appeal to the Christian, what should be mainly a Christian informed culture to advocate for prostitution.
Say it one more time.
So yeah, so I'm just trying to tie this back to the legalizing prostitution thing.
Yeah, so I mean, generally, I would want there to be if it was legalized, I would want there to be some level, like I would want it to be something with brothel style things where there's an organization, there's a place, there's a brick and mortar place. They have to register with the government. They have to register with the town. All the people there have W-2s or 1099 or whatever. You've got to be testing, and you've got to give your maybe you even got to give your if you're a John, you got to go in and give your license or a credit card or something that can tie you back to that. So if something happens to one of these women, or you give something to some of these women, then there's recourse. That is the biggest part for me. That there is, if we could get rid of the prostitutes themselves, then I would 1000% agree with you. But as we all know, what do they say? Oh, it's the oldest profession. So this idea that, okay, let's
Well,
get rid of prostitution, that's not a reality. So if prostitution is going to exist, should we not regulate it so that it is as the least harmful that it can be?
yeah, isn't the least harmful thing to abolish it?
Right, but that, yeah. So how do we abolish prostitution? I completely agree with you. If you can get rid of
To
prostitution
you
entirely,
would
that would
by
be the best
well
thing. So
no
how do we do that?
to abolish it would not be to because you know we had an abolishment of being able to drink alcohol in this country and
No, we had
that was never
prohibition.
yeah
That definitely didn't
that was
abolish
never meant
anything.
that this doesn't happen. It just meant that it was illegal.
Right. But so okay, what you're talking about is prohibition.
So yeah, and
Abolition means to abolish, means it no longer exists. So if we're talking about prohibition,
well
then
then I guess
all
I
over the
guess I
country,
just
that's mostly
disagree
already what we
upon
have.
I guess I just disagree upon classification of the word itself. Do I
Okay,
think there's some do I think
I'll
that
give you that.
something should be
I do.
illegalized? But if yeah, I think that maybe it
But
should
that's
be
what, but that's the
illegalized.
crux of the argument. That's
Yeah.
the crux of the argument. You're
Ah, I
saying,
see what you're
well,
saying now. I
right,
see
yeah,
what you're
yeah. You're
saying
saying
now.
we should get rid of it. I agree with you. If there was a way to absolutely get rid of all of the, I mean, not like individually, but I mean, get rid of prostitution as a thing, yeah, I'd be down with that. But that is not a practical. That's not a practical idea. So, given that we know there will be women who sell their bodies and there will be men who pay those women for their bodies, what is the best path forward?
To build a society that pushes against these ideas that just because people will do things that it's not okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And
to get rid of the
reason to do that
prostitution,
is
we get rid of the
hamstring
prostitutes.
infinitely by outsourcing that to the government. How many people are fighting against things that are bad that are already illegal? Unless it is at the level of like immigration, I mean, I can't even think of another example. Can you think of another example of something that is already illegal that we need a coalition, or we need activism, or we need people chanting, or we need people talking in order to get people to not do it to a degree where it's harming society?
So do I think that we need more advocation for particular things that are
Well,
that
I'm
that
just asking if there's anything else that is already illegal and it could be better, it could be lesser because it's illegal because like let's say it was up here and maybe we made it illegal and so it's lesser because it's illegal. Now people aren't breaking the law, but we want less of it. So it's already legal, and then we do something else. I'm saying I don't think that is a thing. I don't think that is a.
Uh,
I don't think
depop
that is within the power of
do
the government.
depopularization. We're just talking about, yeah, we're just talking about not normalizing specific things in a society. Like not know, yeah, which you kind of brought it to something specific, meaning the best way to, possibly the only way to get rid of prostitution would be to get rid of the prostitutes.
Well, that's what yeah, like I mean, unless you mowing them down, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well,
And
no,
I mean,
I agree with you.
unfortunately, they'll turn 18.
I think that's the only way that it's going to happen completely. But then again,
Right.
people that say that we should make it, or at least remove regulations and completely illegalize it, I don't think that these people are saying that that's inherently going to just get rid of it altogether. I think that what we're looking for is a decentivization, is we need more incentives that show people, look, yeah, you can do this thing. It's really horrible. There are lots of things that people can do. Like, you can get it done. It doesn't mean that you should. Which and I'm behind your argument of going at the source. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Completely agree with
we're
you.
essentially we're not too far off. I mean, I understand why you would think that it's bad, so it should be illegal. I think it is bad enough that I'm not going. I'm like, this is a fun debate, and then this is November 4th, 8 p.m. Eastern. I will be on Speakeasy having this exact
Yeah.
debate. So shout out to Sawyer for helping me out here.
Oh, dude, shout out to you. Go ahead. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you need to go ahead. Put a link or something in the private chat here on StreamYard so I can add that to the description.
I don't even
Because
know where it is, but y'all
let's
know,
say,
y'all know
are you?
Speakeasy.
Well, either way,
Mortal
are you
Kombat.
streaming in that? Are you streaming that on your end or anything?
Yeah, I'll be streaming on my end, the India Jesus
Oh
official, and
yeah.
then if you
I
search
w-
Speakeasy with a Z or Verbal Combat, you'll find it.
well, yeah. Well, you came through, so just gonna go back after this and put your link in the description because y'all need to go watch that
Appreciate
debate. I'm gonna be watching it. You guys need to watch it too. Everything that they do over there, especially if it involves this guy, it's always a super fun discussion. They get into it, boy, man. They really do.
Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man.
I got a question from my chat.
Yeah.
Do you want to send armed men? Well, let me read this first before I say it.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So, do you want to send armed men onto private property to throw people in a cage for having sex for money? Would you personally be willing to do it?
What would I personally
Two
be willing to
separate
throw
things.
people in a cage? But no, but I don't necessarily think that that should be the impulse reaction to such a thing. Once again, I've been appealing to due process, asking, will due process change? I don't think that the first thing that we do, even to repeat offenders, when it comes to a lot of these things, is I don't think that the first thing that we do is throw them in cages. I think that there's a reform system that most of the time gets
So, what would
utilized.
totally fair? So then, what
Yeah.
would you say if, let's say, someone got caught being a John, and it was like a typical sting that you see on TV, where it's like the woman cop working Vice, and she's in a
Chris
thing in a
Hansen.
hotel, and da da da. You're like, stop!
Yeah.
What would be the appropriate punishment for that?
Well, I think the current punishment, as at least if we're talking about like you see it, did you say like you see it on TV on the news or something? Is that the
Yeah, like in the movies where
specifically?
they do
I
like
think
the
well,
Miami Vice sting, and it's like, oh, and this is a chick that works for the cops, and she's acting like the streetwalker. And she brings him
yeah,
to the hotel. Oh, my baby, I just need the money. And as soon as he hands over the money, they kick down the door, and she's like, LaFleur, and they they kick down the door. It's like, all right, you're caught. So if someone's caught in a sting like that,
yeah.
you're saying they wouldn't necessarily go to jail. Fair. So then what should an appropriate punishment be? Let's say it's a first timer, never done this before, but you handed money to a prostitute and then you got caught.
I think it should involve a reform process that, and I wouldn't necessarily be able to outline the entire process of which I would classify as reform, but I suspect that it would go through the same type of process that we experience for a lot of things like drug users or even alcoholics. I think that there would be a type of, just a type of reform. I'm not going to be able to outline that reform though, just because I'm not aware of the process. I'm just aware of its existence, but I'm not aware of the details of the process itself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I definitely, I think, as we said in the beginning, that clearly it's not a good thing for society. We might come from slightly different positions on where the law should come down, but
But
I
you're
think we
taking,
more or less agree on what
I
people
mean,
should or shouldn't be doing.
you're taking quite a libertarian stance on this, man.
Go.
It's quite the stance.
Individual liberty over everything.
Well, and I mean, I guess that's kind of like you were speaking about cruxes. I guess that would be the crux of my argument is where do we draw the line from individualism to like my arguments against fascism, which would be the turn away from individualism to looking at a mass scale of proportion on who is the majority of a demographic and how can we appeal to these people to actually have the majority of a nation behind us. I just think that liberty is kind of antithetical to, oh man, not just what I stand for, but just how the nation operates as a whole now. But I have a problem with how the nation operates in a lot of different facets. So you have a compelling argument. Even though I don't agree with it, you have a very compelling argument.
Fair enough, brother.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I think we hit some cool bedrock here. I appreciate the discussion. I'm gonna run out, but I am subscribe to the channel. So, hopefully, I will be back. And Pete, please feel free to stop on by. You always have an open invite to the show.
I greatly appreciate you, man. Thank you for stopping by. Everyone, go follow, go subscribe to Indian Jesus. He's a wonderful debater, and also he'll make you laugh. Thank you for stopping by, man. You're so charming, dude. You have a good night.
I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and like right now, sometimes whenever I feel like it. So come on through, and we have a good time. Thank you so much, brother.
Man. Oh yeah, have a good night,
Peace.
man. We're happy to see you. Awesome. How about that, y'all? That is what it's all about. Now, we have never had someone that I watch every day on this show. And that was quite a pleasant surprise. And I know I'm not very up forward with who I watch for entertainment. But you guys do need to go check out that group of individuals that we were talking about. Specifically, Speakeasy. I mean, you saw his name, the Indian Jesus. Look him up. And all of this, I mentioned a panel verse. Y'all just ignore that. That was a joke for the normies. But man, yeah, that was such a pleasant surprise. And it was such a topic that I was unprepared for and yet was still so aware of. And man, he had some good arguments. He had some good stances on such a controversial topic. What do you guys think about that? What do y'all think? Prostitution legal? I mean, I'm not necessarily behind it. I don't know how much I don't know how much I'd utilize it. But it certainly does make you think. Especially considering the arguments that were provided today. And it was interesting to hear someone so willing to break down terms, especially in contrast to what we were talking about before he came up. With people that are just so inconsistent. And that's something I got to work on, isn't it? We saw that tonight. I got caught with my pants down. No diddy. Oh, man, that was such a pleasant surprise. How long have we been going for you guys? Holy shit. I don't even know how long we were doing that. But it turns out we were doing it for longer than I thought we were. My camera's blurry. Everyone that was in the chat is probably getting ready to leave now. Peace out, good space. Oh, AJ, I'm just now getting back to the chat. AJ! Thank you for coming out. You've been the #1 chatter tonight, as you normally are, especially with the Witness podcast. If you're going back, if you're watching this after the fact, I appreciate you coming out. Shout out our number 1, number 2, number 3. We had 3 chatters. AJ, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your comments. Number 2. Oh, AJ, you're number 1 and number 2. How did that happen? Well, AJ, you made it. Sam Blue, you're number 3. Thank you, man. Thank you for stopping by early in the stream, too. I wish I had timestamps with these comments. But we don't get enough of them anyway. So, I mean, you probably know when you left your comment. Also, I have DVR activated, so you can just rewind that shit. Hold on. Off my lens. Let y'all get a good angle right up close on my face. Right after I just got fucking smashed in an impromptu prompt. Man, I'm not ever gonna get over how pleasant of a surprise that is. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. You know what? Just so it can be in the live chat, I'm gonna go ahead and put some links in the chat and in the description, because that was possibly top 5 last names that I was expecting to come across. And he's doing an invasion. He's doing an invasion right now. He's doing what we want to do. Oh, man. God bless you, man. Thank you for coming back through. Or thank you for coming. Not back. You weren't back. Look, I'm already living in the future. Thank you for coming through, man. If any of your chat is still in the show, still in my chat, thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate the love. My chat was bumping for a minute. I just couldn't pay any attention to it, because I had to focus and talk to someone who's so much smarter than me. I don't know how hard it is to be so dumb and have to talk to people so smart. I'm surrounded by giants. One just visited us. Anyway, here's this. Spamming that. That's the Indian Jesus's channel. And I'm gonna just spam the debate that our recent visitor is going to be taking place in. I hope to see y'all there, because I'm going to be there. He's going to be debating a guy called JS Urban Adventures. Dude is hilarious. JS Urban Adventures is the man. Indian Jesus is the man. And not just because he came to this show. I'm going to go ahead. I don't even think we can get back to Steven Crowder after that. What do y'all think? I think I got to update my... Oh, yeah, I got to update subscribers, but I'm not doing it. So you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm just going to get rid of this. Oh, nope. Not yet. We're professional. If anybody else wants to do what he just did, what Indian Jesus just did, it just does not take a lot of courage when I'm the competition, but as you can see, link in the description. Come talk shit. Disagree with me on something other than other than what I just got smashed on. Because there's no denying. I was not ready. I was not prepared. That was excellent, though. I'm going to put those links in the description. I'm going to turn on some music for a little bit. I'm going to take my dog out. And we're going to close this stream the right way. Oh, that's the wrong one. We do it live, people. And he saw it immediately. 40,000 subs and you got 4 people in the chat. I know. Y'all disappoint me. We got some organic growth over some of the slowest subscription growth on YouTube. It's so organic that it's taken years. $8 p.m. at 8 p.m. EST. Now we gotta get him back in here. Let's find his name. What a cool dude. Honestly, don't ever expect people to I don't ever expect people to come in and talk to me. When they do, I feel lucky and privileged. Just that I can hear how other people think and like what informs them of what thought processes. If you guys are interested in the same thing, go watch that debate. I just put 2 links in the description. Or did I? I was supposed to have. They're not showing up. What the fuck is going on? Oh, there we go. Yeah. In the description, links. Thank you for visiting. You got the Indian Jesus's link right there. And immediately after it, you guys will catch a link for November the 4th at 8 p.m. EST, a channel called Speak Easy. It is a channel I watch every day and was watching before I started this live. You guys go over to that channel, Speak Easy. You guys saw me pull both of them up. Or at least I think you definitely saw me pull up Indian Jesus. I'm going to switch accounts. I'm going to subscribe on the production company account too. And man, it was wonderful. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. From start to finish. And this'll get some views after the fact. It's just you guys that are watching this after the fact, because I always get multitudes of views after I'm not live anymore. You guys got to start catching this shit live. This shit is awesome, man. Being able to just hear what people think, how they think it, why they think it, it lets you know a lot about yourself. And what I learned about myself tonight is I'm really not prepared to advocate for a lot of the things that I advocate for or against. As much as I advocate for or against these things, I gotta make sure I'm prepared. So the next time I just see a topic or a prompt, like what I've seen on Speed, like the very debate that he brought up, that he's going to be taking place on November 4th, I saw that thumbnail when it was scheduled on YouTube, because I'm that type of fan of the Speakeasy channel and that whole group of people between the Indian Jesus, JS Adventures, Fredo Franzarelli, Terriac. Fucks with them. I'll never go on verbal. Well, I probably will one day. I won't yet. Speakeasy has this awesome show called Verbal Combat. Just if you want to fight about something, he'll have you up to fight about stuff. And if you do well enough for long enough, you might go home with some cash, or you can give it back to the chat for memberships. Which, if you're a person of the chat, that's what you do. Put it to the memberships, baby. But man, I just got shown that that's a little bit of preparation away. So we're gonna keep at the debates. We're gonna keep at the debate prep. We're gonna get there one day. One day soon. Oh wait. One day soon. I'm gonna go to the washroom. Take my dog out. And cry about getting squashed on my own show. It's terrible. Terrible, but awesome. Oh no, why can't y'all see my music? Uh-oh. Y'all can't see the... forget it. Y'all don't need to see the doggone title. I'll be right back. To my 40,000 subs and freaking 4 viewers. I still love you, though. Least you could do is hit the... Wait. The least that you could do is... Hold on. You know what you can do? You can... Hold on. Wait for it. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? This is what you can do. You can like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon on the channel home screen. That way you get told when we go live and when we release videos. And you might get told when we do shorts, which that's what we're popular for, is our shorts. But if you're here, you probably don't really watch shorts too much. But we have shorts. It's what we're popular for. I'm just trying to post hoc justify 4 viewers on my own channel. Fuck, dude. Shit.
Put me in the cage, the lines of the dying to get some blood on my jeans. Tear the membrane, I'm a narco diabolical carnivore using their bones to pick my teeth. Shout out to my mama, she raised the G. Been on bullshit since 4 before 18. Shooting out 6 feet 4, split 16. Moved about 100 G's before I bought my first ring. Now push melodies, Admiral Upteen till we take it overseas. Borderline trafficking. If you understand me, I'm sending shells at your feet. Beat to a Happy Meal, Grammy, the Burger King. You ain't got to know my name, bitch, but you heard of me. Proud to fucking mama, didn't rob her of jewelry. Been around the world, came back for the forgery. What you call 50 shots, really miss tutelage. No, you can't say what you mean. I know you don't know, but you feel me. Don't know, you can't see to believe it. I've been fighting battles with them demons. Fuck you know about watching your family die one by one in your arms every year. Fuck you know about being the scariest one. And you know, motherfucker, they fear. Fuck you know about having to drive and seeing nothing but blood in the mirror. Who the fuck knew I would take it this far? Think about buying a crib just to who never visited. Come to your state just to feel like the dealership. Just got a whip and it came with a pan and it started a spark and I get at a park. I don't need a new park cause I just got my seat. If it pay me advance in advance if you need a kid. Swim with the sharks, they bite in the bar, they take you apart. You come around dripping, I hear you talk shit. Sit beneath me. Fuck you, you probably wanna be me. Kid never conceive that the kid could call out the rebel. Turn to a rebel, no can repel them. They turn a reverend, I turn in a friend. And I'm back to my gun and I woke up. I just gotta say now, something know it's that time. Pull up in all black, even in the daytime. Talking about my clique, homie, that's a fine line. Don't get stepped on, I turn you to fine wine. And I'm from the belt, so always drink his bamboo. Your girl probably got my name on a tattoo. Whole world better know my name. Words not a product of the fame. Everybody playing in the game and it's your move. Funny how harass clear when you got the high view. Funny how God talking back long as I move. I'd have been to hell and came back with his trap. I'd have shot the sheriff and I'm keeping his hat. I'd have paid the tariff, now I'm taking it back. Fuck you if you ain't in my trap, then you next. On your talking pistol prop, you probably with police department. Look and drop when I pull up, you will believe you mean. Bitch, used to take a pint, lean up over then I lean. Bitch, I'm like I see my mind, and right you playing with the demons. Think I'm running out of options, then you miss see me, bitch. Leg is dead, steady, rise soon, you cannot see me, bitch. About to go supersonic, almost cannot reach me. Walking in the presence while I'm speaking in my Geechee. Walking like I don't give a fuck about the crazies. Your mama say she like me, your brother wanna be me. I'm gunning for the top of the day, steady trying to be me. For running for the team, I pledge my allegiance. For another motherfucker trying to make, it's gonna be no meetings. It's gonna be no speaking, I'm gonna be on scene. The game look nice, but I'm playing mean. Fuck you, pay me, I'm playing for me. Painting a picture out of my memory. Remember days I had nothing. I pray to God he let my enemies get some sleep and prodigy. Asking God don't want to forget a thing. Cause when they close their eyes I know they gon' remember me forever. Of the east come to my block and then you've heard of me. They might be gripping when they shake my hand, they shake it nervously. Come from the murder scene, got yellow tape on every fucking street. With the OGs, they know me, so they don't ask a thing. If you see me ripping all the L's, then don't you ask me shit. If you see me with the bottles,
What do we even do after that? What do we even do after that? I want to go longer. How long have we been going? 3 hours and 8 minutes. Well, we started off with this yeah, let's do it right. We'll continue this. Even though now my mind is definitely on, I gotta get better at advocating against prostitution. I'll take shit I've never said 4,000, Alex. Never thought I'd have to say it. And that's why it's so important to have people like that guy around. Something else that I mentioned when we were discussing this guy right here. It's important to have people who are willing to talk about their worldview, whether you disagree with it or not. And like your champions, your champions are everything. And your champion is whoever's going to go out there and say, I'll argue it. Doesn't matter if they're good or not. Now, obviously, I was not good in trying to tell anybody why prostitution should be illegal. I was no good at all. But I did put myself in the position of championing my stance. And through that shame, I will be better. Oh, man. I'm going to tell everybody that happened. I'm going to tell everybody. All right, we got to rewind a little bit just to see where we were at.
Come in with President Trump.
For these people.
The position
that
of
wasn't an insult.
go there. Please don't go there. We're
It's not
in this
Don't go there. I got to hear what she was talking about there. Or she's monologuing.
status. What's the difference between an illegal immigrant and an undocumented refugee who comes here illegally?
I think if there were people who were sitting at the border trying to walk into, from what I understood, that there are sort of government spots where they could walk in there and say, I'm here as a refugee, please allow me in, those places were closed down. How do you make it impossible for them not to obey the law and then arrest them and say you disobeyed the law?
What law is he disobeying by not allowing illegal immigrants in
Sir,
here?
I tell you, I'm not sure if it's United States law, if this is NATO, if this is, and we pass, we sign treaties with people saying we are going to treat refugees in this certain way.
It's not.
What's not?
It's not. You said you don't know if it's a law. It's not a law.
What is it then?
So because what you brought up,
who protects the refugees? Who gave us this? That
I'm not gonna lie, chat. Kind of working my way back into the context. My mind is still wondering.
A refugee comes in and says, "Please let me in."
I understand where you're coming from, a place of compassion, right? These people are coming.
No, please don't go there. Please don't go there. We're trying to say that, to me, a fascist is a person who, I'm not coming from compassion. I'm coming from the position
that wasn't an insult. I understand that because I'm compassionate toward these people. But rule of law does matter. Your problem is not with the United States president.
No, it's with President Trump.
It's with the United States.
No, it's with President Trump, who is breaking the law and not allowing these people to come in.
No, he's not. He's not breaking the law. I think that's important. Again, there's nothing fascist about having borders. Again, if we go back to fascism, we're talking about autocratic control of government or a racial ethno-nationalist state. There's nothing fascist about actually enforcing current immigration law.
What current immigration laws?
I
don't even know what they are. Does anyone know what they are?
Yes.
What are they?
You're not allowed to come into this country illegally, and you should be deported if you do.
What about the
Well, let's double check that, shall we? We're probably going to have to find a stopping point in this video just because it's so fucking late. Okay, so immigration laws, eligibility and status, legal permanent residents are those with immigrant visas, and they can live and work in the U.S. and may eventually be eligible to apply for citizenship. Undocumented immigrants, individuals living in the U.S. without legal status are at risk of deportation unless they have a valid claim for asylum or temporary protected status. Immigration claim of... Immigrants seeking asylum are individuals who have fled their home country due to persecution and are requesting protection from another country, though their claim has not yet been legally recognized. So it's just an argument against... Wow, that's ironic. An argument against what is legally recognized and what is not. That's what dictates what asylum is. Oh, it's ironic.
Refugees. I said I'm not talking about
if
the
they enter
immigrants.
illegally,
I'm talking
if they
about
enter
the
illegally,
refugees.
they're to be deported. They're
and
illegal
if
immigrants.
they are absolutely...
Oh, and there's something. If she's referring to refugees, then she's not necessarily referring to immigrants, is she? Because, I mean, we just read out what a refugee is. Someone who seeks asylum, whether it be or not be legally recognized. So it's almost like when we say illegal immigrant, we mean someone who's just willingly coming across the border. Not seeking asylum. So just someone who's coming here, whether it be for the means of seeking a better life or I don't know. And also, what is prosecution? Are you being prosecuted against if you've now this is not an argument to say that even most families down south of the border have bad business dealings with the cartel. But those that do, would you call those people persecuted? Because from my understanding, the majority of the arguments that are implemented by these illegal immigrants in the name of them seeking asylum is that they're escaping persecution, which would be under the guise of asylum seeking. However, they also claim that they're seeking asylum from prosecution of the cartel and drug and human traffickers. And is that prosecution? I'll tell you what. Well, I'll look at it just because I'm afraid some crazy shit might pop up. Let's look this up. Yeah, well, that's not exactly worded the way that I want it to be worded. Harassment by a cartel may be grounds for asylum, but eligibility depends heavily on establishing that the harm is a... We're going to go away from the overview. Yeah. The United States Citizen and Immigration Service. Rayo Directorate. Directorate. Yeah, anyway. Let us... Dude, I'm not going to be able to understand this, am I? So, section... Added reference to effects of climate change or natural disasters among conditions that may be considered when analyzing other serious harm. So, does that mean that refugees or people that are seeking asylum are also seeking sanctity from prosecution of climate change? From climate change? Did my impromptu squashing on the previous topic seriously brain fart me like this? Or am I actually reading that and interpreting that correctly? I know I'm reading it correctly. Am I interpreting it correctly? Oh, dude, no, I'm not doing that. Damn. Can I just... Ah. I have to put in my info to download this? Well, maybe that's something that we can go over another day. Another stream. Which would be, the definition of persecution and eligibility based on past persecution. It's a lesson plan from the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Interesting, Mr. Anderson. Quite interesting indeed. Well, I think it's obvious we're not going to be doing no War Thundering tonight. Well, we've been going for almost 3.5 hours. Which this will be our longest recent stream. Which will be alright. So you know what? I think we're going to call it a night. Because I brought you the content. I brought you the Indian Jesus. I watched that guy. And he was brought to you. I didn't bring him to you. But he was brought to you. Someone say it was prophesied. The Indian Jesus. Alright, I can't do a Jesus joke. That's I'm sorry. I can't do that joke. I don't think I can, at least. But yeah, the content was brought to you guys tonight. I think that's gonna do it. I think we're gonna end it with a song. Yeah, we're going to end it with a song. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for invading me, Indian Jesus. Y'all make sure to go check out Speakeasy's channel. The link is in the chat and the description. You go check out the Indian Jesus' channel. The link is in the chat and in the description. It's late. I've taken 3 sips of beer and I'm slurring my words. From all of us at StarMan Filmz Global, to all of you amongst the panelverse, we all hope that you have a wonderful night. Thank you for visiting. Thank you again to our very, very modest visitors. Until next time, have a good night.
Keep treating me like a no-name, I know game. Came in on my bullshit, no brains. Started with a stick and nowadays it's still the same. Spitting at these lame rappers, automatic straight aim. All of you still capping just like the dope fiend. Anything for a bag of that and some new J's. All it take is the camera snap with a Frank stat. Work by the bungalow, homie, where the freight's at. Came in off the fucking top, don't even know where I stay at. I stay on the block, right next to them folks and nations. I ain't banging no, I just rap the ones that raised me. Liquid with the flow, I've been dripping since a baby. Mi belga fumo, no entra amiga sa frontera en tu zapato. Yeah, I know how I go. My music travel over state lines like cargo. Fine with the dope, but never go an embargo. Came up from the gravel, my street, my rock, yeah, home I grow. My city, my block, you see it wherever I go. Bitch, I am the wood, tomorrow I'll be the glow. Low, my low. I'm starting to see the horizon. Only see it cause I'm flying. Brought the water with me, Poseidon. And I ain't dying till I'm done trying. I'm starting to see the horizon. Only see it cause I'm flying. I brought the water with me, Poseidon. Yeah. And I ain't dying till I'm done trying to be me. Wake up, what it do? Let me me see who hate me today. Hold up, move, matter of fact, I got better shit to break. I'm about to give me $1 million today. Maybe not followers, maybe not change. Just trying to manifest what I say. I'm just trying to buy my mama a babe. Money don't buy happiness, it can't. But I'd rather do my crying in a Mercedes. My grandma told me keep the vision, don't jade it. And I won't. I waited too long, now you can't see me make it. I put it on our name on my labels for you. I'm trying to pin through this paper like staples. Now well, and I ain't got a lot of time left. I see the horizon now, so don't hold your breath. They say that I'm flying now, and all I did was take a step in the right direction. I walk with every breath, and there's no expression. I mean that, fresh and clean, black, with the beam, black. Come around my family and my team, black. Get them sun, see the horizon. Only see it cause I'm flying.